have circulated this past week that if Becky Lynch is going to arrive somewhere, if Becky Lynch is going to make a return, surely that return would be on SmackDown, because that is where Seth Rollins is, and it makes sense that those two would want to be together. I know that Becky was on Raw before, but it would make sense that she would actually return to SmackDown. So there is a chance, a small chance, a slim chance that Becky might be on the show. I'm not expecting it. There's been no rumors of it. I'm only basing that on the fact that a lot of us thought that she would be at WrestleMania. She wasn't. I thought that she'd be at Royal Rumble. She wasn't. We know that she's back in the gym. We know that she's getting ready to return. Nick Khan, who is like an executive with WWE, he has come out and said that her return is very close. But they may wait for WrestleMania Backlash. They might wait for the next pay-per-view. The only thing is, I don't know if that pay-per-view is going to have fans. If it is going to have fans, then she'll probably return there. But there's a good chance that it won't. It's a good chance that there won't be any fans at that next pay-per-view, and that the next fans might not be till SummerSlam. And honestly, I don't know if we're going to wait till SummerSlam for Becky to return. So there is a chance. There is a bit of a long shot there. And we'll see if that plays out tonight, or how that plays out tonight. Big shout out to Boy123. Really appreciate the support, bud. Yeah, there's quite a bit to talk about as well, isn't there? Because, of course, the news yesterday was that there was 10 superstars that got released. I've already gone through my morning of Billie Kay, and that one stung. If you know anything about me, you'll know that I loved Billie Kay. I was really into the resume. I tweeted out so many times tagging WWE Shop that I wanted them to stock and sell the Billie Kay resume. And I really thought she had something special. I really thought she had something that the rest of the women's division was lacking. And I can't get my head around it. And I can't get my head around why they've hired Pat McAfee. And certainly why they've announced it the following day. Like, it's not a good look, is it? It's not a good look to get rid of, like, Samoa Joe and 9 wrestlers, and then the next day you bring in Pat McAfee, or announce that you've brought in Pat McAfee. So Pat McAfee is on the commentary team, along with Michael Cole tonight. So I'm just thankful that I have to have my sound turned down, and I am going to be turning it down even lower. Scott Turner, shout out to you. I hope you are well, my friend. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone's having a good day. I am getting pulled in a few different directions now that like shops are reopening and things are happening. We're starting to get like people coming round to have a look at certain things. So we had like the pest control guy who comes round once a month. We've had like the gas guy come round, and I don't know, it just starting to feel like the UK is busy. So starting to feel like things are happening here in the UK after months and months and months of being in lockdown. Yeah, it's kind of a bit crazy now that there's things happening. So I've been out of, there's been things that I've had to go off and do. And yeah, it's nice to actually sit down and just put a bit of focus on SmackDown. And this is a show very much that I've been looking forward to, because this is the show that's got Roman. This is the show that's got Bianca. And I can't wait to see them celebrate and the fallout for WrestleMania. We have seen Bianca on NXT, of course. But yeah, she's going to surely get the microphone, say a few words tonight about what that moment meant to her, and if she's recovered from the emotion of it all. So it's going to be good, man. I am looking forward to tonight's show. Plus, everyone knows SmackDown is the best show of the week. So Alan Jason said, I'm getting serious. Oh, it's getting serious. We've got over 10,000 COVID cases now. Well, dude, I honestly, I wish you all the best. I don't know where exactly you are. But we had it quite rough over here, and we've been in lockdown for all of 2021. So it's only been like this past week that we've come out of lockdown. But yeah, I mean, I get people ask all the time, when are you doing a toy hunt? And it's like the shops just haven't been open. The UK just has not been open. But we are sort of out of it now. So yeah, absolutely. Thoughts with everyone else that's still battling it at the moment. We're far from out of it, but Hayden Garrett, shout out to you. I have no idea if she's going to read this out, so I'll do it. Hayden Garrett said, I'm going to watch Prince Philip's funeral coverage tomorrow at 11:30 p.m. New Zealand time. Funeral starts 3 p.m. UK time. How are you, Days? Shout out to you, Hayden. Hope you are well, buddy. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a big thing that's happening. I mean, that's on, obviously, all our channels over here, and front page of all the newspapers every day this week has all been about Prince Philip and his passing. And I mean, to be perfectly truthful, I'm not sure I'll be awake. I've got, obviously quite a bit of stuff to prep for UFC and all that kind of stuff. I'm planning on doing this. I still need to do some prep work for UFC. We've got the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight tomorrow, which is huge. I've had so many people asking me about that. So if you are watching and you are thinking, I wonder if he is going to do that or not, we are doing that. We are going to be doing Jake Paul Ben Askren fight. We will be covering it. And we're going to have UFC on at the same time because they do sadly overlap. So we will be watching both tomorrow. So I want to make sure that I know my stuff. So watching this, researching that, and then getting some rest, getting ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. So I might miss that personally, Hayden, but not really out of choice. So I would definitely watch it if I was able to. And that's cool. That's cool that you are, buddy. I hope you are well. Kevin Dunn is the reason that Billy got fired, says Andrus. Yes, I have heard this news. Apparently he didn't see it in her. He felt that she had reached her ceiling. And what I don't understand, right, is I understand that he's been around a long time. I understand that he's very influential. But I also haven't heard too many examples of Kevin Dunn getting involved in that kind of a thing. I do find it very, very strange, this story, because you always hear about how Vince and Pat Patterson and Jim Cornette and, people along those lines are sat around the pool at Vince's house writing out the shows. And so it's just a bit strange to hear of Kevin Dunn. And if you don't know who Kevin Dunn is, he's the guy that produces the shows. So he is in the truck. He is the one that's going to commercial. He's the one that's pulling video packages in. He's the one that makes the show happen, really. Vince is sitting there telling people, right, get ready to go. And when they come back, yeah, I like that. I didn't like that. We need more of this. It's Vince's vision, but it's Kevin Dunn that brings that vision to life. And this is what's weird, is that, like, I haven't heard many examples where Kevin Dunn has actually got involved and said, I don't like this person, or I do like that person, or this person should go, or that person should go. His job really is just to present whatever Vince visions, whatever Vince wants, and so all the CGI stuff, that's all down to Kevin Dunn. The look of the Thunderdome, I'd imagine that's Kevin Dunn. Certainly the cameramen are Kevin Dunn's responsibilities, the lighting, I would imagine like he just helps with that whole side. So I can't believe he's turned around and for some reason gone, yeah, I just don't see it in Billie Kay. I think she's reached a ceiling. I don't think there's anywhere left for her to go. I just can't, I don't know. Don't understand. I don't know where the stories really come from. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying that it's a weird one. I certainly didn't expect that. So, devastating. I just hope that she sticks with wrestling. I hope she sticks with wrestling. I think there's a good chance that the Iconics go to AEW because, of course, Peyton Royce is married to Sean Spears. So I think there's a great chance that they could both go over there. If Peyton's going over there, she's surely making room and finding room for Billy. So I think that there could be something in that. And I understand she's not like the greatest wrestler in the world. She's not someone that can do 5-star classics or whatever, but that's not her role. Like we found her role. Her role is the comedy side of things. And she does the facials and the little catchphrases. I mean, the resume idea was brilliant. The resume idea, I think, really did have some potential, and they just didn't really do much with it. So, yeah, I think she deserves to go away, flesh out like the comedy side, explore some stuff she wants to explore, build up a fan base, and fingers crossed she just gets that call from Triple H and can find her way back, you know. So hopefully not the end of the road. We've seen Bobby Lashley return. We've seen Drew McIntyre return. We've seen Shelton Benjamin return. We've seen MVP return. Like, there are people that have gone and found their way back. Jeff Hardy, for example. But it is going to be hard for Billie because she's going to need to really, you know, make some waves, make some statements, really catch WWE's eye wherever she goes now. So hard for her. And this is going to be, you know, certainly in this climate as well, where there's not loads of companies that are active. Like, the indie scene pretty much doesn't exist right now. So very, very difficult for her. But hopefully, I just think the way to look at it is that the cream always rises to the top. If you're good enough, then you will make it. And I think she's good enough. I think her charisma, personality, I think it's good enough. But it's just her wrestling maybe isn't. So maybe she has got the charisma, the personality, but maybe she needs to go away and hone that, focus that, you know, really get comfortable with that. But maybe get her wrestling so that to 5 stars, so that she is, you know, she can't be ignored. Not Luck Jones, shout out to you, says, was that Masvidal they kept showing in the crowd during Bad Bunny's match at Mania? I'm pretty sure that Samoa Joe and Iconics will end up at AEW. I must admit, I didn't see. I watched the Bad Bunny match, but I didn't see them showing someone repeatedly in the crowd. Would it surprise me that Masvidal was there? No. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if it turned out that Masvidal was in the crowd. But to be perfectly honest, I haven't heard anyone mention that or talk about that. So I don't know if anyone in the chat can answer that for you. But yeah, I can't say I noticed him. Vape Ross Vape says, fire Joe and hire Pat for twice the money. WWE TKS. Yeah, I mean, just awful, isn't it? Just absolutely awful. I think it's a terrible, horrific decision. I mean, you fire Samoa Joe, who's doing a great job. His commentary is brilliant, right? He's got such wrestling knowledge. He's wrestled at Ring of Honor. He's been in TNA. He's obviously competed in NXT and WWE. And he's got all this wealth of knowledge. He is legit. And you get rid of him to bring in someone that's never done this before. To bring in someone like Pat McAfee, who is literally just a name in America, not even a name internationally. It's not like you're bringing in LeBron James, right? Before WWE, I'd never even heard of him. And I was on Twitter. And I sent a tweet out saying, I really don't like this guy, blah, 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 blah. And I've had a fair few people saying, well, I love him. Why don't you like him? Like, if you don't like him, it just means he's a great heel. The problem with that is I'm not judging him on his heel work. I'm judging him on him. Like, I'm judging him when he was doing the kickoff shows. Do you remember at WrestleMania? I don't know if everyone knows this, but at WrestleMania, he did a little bit of hosting. He was like one of those interviewers. And I think he was doing their watch-along. But at WrestleMania, he was in shorts. He was wearing, I think, a jacket. And I think they were quite smart shorts. But he was still in shorts. He was standing there in shorts. And I don't know. It didn't look as professional, if you will, as like wearing like long trousers. Everyone else is in long trousers in a proper suit, and he was standing there in like shorts, and he got shouted at for it. He got told off for it. Michael Cole, I think, was saying, "Don't you dare blow this opportunity," kind of a thing. And he threatened to walk out. He threatened to leave because like he was getting told off for wearing shorts, and he was like, "If I need to go, I'll just go." And it's kind of like, it doesn't feel like he's quite in sync with WWE. On the kickoff shows, I always felt like he came across quite mouthy, quite arrogant, a little bit like a jock, which I suppose that's exactly what he is. He really struck me as someone that was really into themselves, really overly confident that they deserved to be there. And maybe it comes from everyone telling him he's great because of American football. I genuinely don't know, because I don't know the guy. I honestly don't know the guy. But I'm judging him on all of that. I didn't even watch him in NXT. I'm not judging him on his heel work with Adam Cole. I just think that he as a person has come across to me, sitting here in the UK, someone that doesn't know him at all. He's come across to me as unlikable. So you've really not helped him out by announcing that he's been hired the day after 10 people have been let go. So it is crazy. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really affect me, to be perfectly honest, because I always have the sound down. So it's not like the biggest deal for me. So if you are a fan of him, then cool. You know, you've got something good there for SmackDown. And if you're not a fan of him, then I'd urge that you discover the mute button and don't worry about it. At least he's going to be tucked out of the way. And honestly, who knows how long he's going to last anyway, because this really might not work out. John said AAMOF. I don't know what that means. Pat sucks. Also, Days, Pat sucks. STG if he enters a feud. OMG. What are all these? I don't understand all these. I am ISO help for Pat. Hopefully it's good. Okay. I have no idea what all of that youth chat is, John. But I'm sure there's lots of youths in the chat right now that are nodding in agreement with you. I agree with the Pat sucks bit that you wrote twice. Let's put that. Dane Film said, Days, imagine if the reason WWE fired wrestlers was to distract people from AEW's 1 million viewers. Days, I know this is cruel, but please read all. I would have expected Vince to say 10 people. That's not enough. We're running low on funds with only a few billion. Also, being cruel, that's such good. Yeah, I was fearing that there would be more today, and seemingly I've not seen any other announcements, apart from obviously the Pat McCarthy thing. So, yeah, thankfully I don't think there has been. But it happened last year. They did let a load of people go last year. We lost like the Good Brothers and obviously Drake Maverick, who ended up coming back, and they used that as a storyline. Leo Rush, I think, was released this time last year. There was Sarah Logan. I think Sarah Logan has been gone for a year now from Riot Squad. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? To think she's been gone for 12 months. So it did happen last year, and it's just a shame it's happened again. And I don't know if this is something that'll happen again next year, for example, but it seems like that's it for now. Colin said, will you stop doing SmackDown like you did with NXT now that Pat is on commentary? No, Colin, it doesn't really affect me, to be honest, because I always have the sound down. So it's not something that's going to be a problem for me. It's not anything that's going to get in the way. Plus, to be perfectly truthful, I honestly can understand why they're doing it. I mean, put aside the fact that we've let go 10 wrestlers and Samoa Joe that was doing what I thought a good job on commentary. Put all that to one side. It makes sense if you want to bring in Pat McCarthy to use him on commentary, because he can talk. Like, there was a lot of praise for his talking in his promos. So we know that he can articulate himself. We also know that he's got name recognition and he's got a big podcast. I suppose the hope is that those viewers from his podcast that watch on YouTube or listen on wherever they listen to podcasts, he will somehow bring them over to SmackDown. Plus also, it's on Fox. I believe Fox show NFL games, or certainly into sport. I mean, so like Pat McCarthy's going to connect with their audience. He's going to connect well with their fan base. I can see the logic behind it, to be perfectly truthful. So him being on commentary, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of his, but I can understand why they're doing it. That to me is very, very different than him stepping into a ring and actually trying to wrestle. And I do fear that we're going to get that at some point as well. I'm pretty sure at some point someone's going to get in his face and they're going to try and start a feud with him. But we'll worry about that when we get to that. Notlock Jones said it was 3 hours, 2 minutes. I swear that is the Masvidal, Masvidal's brother or something. Maybe, bud. Maybe. I honestly, I'll have to go back and have a look. Joaquin said, Days, please don't complain about Pat every Friday. It doesn't bother me. Well, it does. I don't like it. But as I said, he's on commentary, so he's out the way. Right, what else have we got? Harley said, Days, I respect Logan. He said people went to him saying you sold the S out of the stunner. Then he said that wasn't a sell. It really hurt. The wrestlers really beat each other up. Never had so much fun. Yeah, I like that. Logan's all right in my book. He's all right in my book. I like the fact that he really did leave the ring not trying to be a hero. I really like that. I really respect that. I mean, when you've got Bad Bunny going around doing destroyers on the outside of the ring, and you got Bad Bunny, trying to be a hero, getting the pin, trying to look cool, that doesn't vibe with me, because that is a singer trying to be equal to the wrestlers. And that's just not right. And it's not how it should work. But with Logan, Logan's not doing that. Logan was in there. All right, he pushed Sammy, but we don't know what Sammy could have done if he'd have responded. Sammy just stayed away. And then he grabbed Kevin Owens' arm, held it up, and Owens hits him with the stunner. And he sold it really well. And so, that he was sharing that clip. That clip was doing the rounds of him being stunned. And I think the youngsters really enjoyed it. I think people a bit older just didn't really care. But I've got respect for that. I got respect for that he's come in and he's actually given something to the business. I like that. Right, let me see. Let me make sure. Ryan Reeves says, I think you will like him once you get to know him. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, they say first impressions is everything, and I can only tell you how I feel. And on the kickoff show, he really came across as arrogant. He really came across as quite mouthy, quite overly confident. I mean, this is a guy that I've never seen before, don't know anything about. I didn't have feelings for one way or another, but he just got to the point where whenever he was on the kickoff shows, I just honestly didn't even want to watch him. I just rolled my eyes because, it just always came across as quite arrogant with the things that he said, how he said them. And then, it was no surprise when he got brought in as a heel. I don't know if he, naturally plays up the heel side of himself. I don't know. I don't know him. But, let's put it this way. He's not great at first impressions. Certainly not with me. And seemingly not with many other people as well. There's been a lot of people that have been really down on this. And obviously the timing has been key. I mean, to announce it the day after 10 superstars have been released, doesn't help him in the slightest. I mean, WWE have done him no favors there either. So, I don't know. It is what it is. I know a lot of people got in touch going, you are going to hate this news. And it's true, I did hate it, but it's also not the end of the world because he's on commentary. I don't have the sound up anyway. it's really not going to interfere with me that much unless he starts doing something in the ring. So, right, let's go down. I want to make sure that I'm definitely not missing any super chats because it's not. She's not reading them out. Joaquin said, "Oh, Days, and also, by the way, Retribution is great." Joaquin, I hope you're well, buddy. Hope you are well. Ryan Reeves, shout out to you. Right, let's go down. Let's see what people are saying. So David Connolly said, I would rather see Joe on commentary than Pat. Cheeseman Wrestling said, Billy Kay should have been a commentator. Could have been fun. Might have got annoying, but it could have been fun as well. Robin said, Days, did you see on the podcast with Booker T, the $1 Million Man said that WWE are going to fly him to Tampa today to feud with Cameron Grimes soon? Well, that will be good if that's true, and I do hope there is going to be something in that, because I do think that those two together could be a lot of fun. That could be a very, very fun partnership. So, yeah, I am looking forward to seeing $1 Million Man doing something with Cameron Grimes, and it does kind of feel inevitable. Like, they've mentioned $1 Million Man a lot. They've done, like, $1 Million Man skits. I think then TakeOver kind of came along, and obviously they were focused on that. But now we're past TakeOver. Really wouldn't surprise me to see $1 Million Man come in and for that to be true. So, yeah, I'd be down for that. I'd love to see Virgil getting involved in this as well, as I said before. Jess says, Days, did you hear there are some NXT talents and 2 are female wrestlers? I haven't. No, I haven't heard. To be honest, I haven't heard much today. I saw the Pat McCarthy news. I saw there was no more releases. I know that it's Otis versus Rey Mysterio. It's also Dirty Dogs versus Street Profits. We're sure to get a Bianca Belair segment. We're sure to get a Roman Reigns segment. We're sure to get an Apollo Crews segment. And that's pretty much all I've seen, to be honest. Like just a very small preview for tonight's show. Ryan said, do you think Big E will be a good feud for Roman? I do. I think you've got to be careful as to when you do that feud. I think you could do it and have him lose and then go back to it like next year or something. If you're going to do it now, I don't know that Big E is the right person right now. I kind of feel like if Roman's going to lose that title, it needs to happen at some big like SummerSlam. It needs to be a big deal. And SummerSlam's a big show. But I wouldn't be doing it at WrestleMania Backlash. I wouldn't have him lose the title there. So I would have him say lose it at SummerSlam. And if he does lose it at SummerSlam, then maybe Big E, we could start to, build that. So you could do it there. It could also be Edge. There's a lot of people that wanted Edge to become champion. So they might pull the trigger on Edge at SummerSlam. It's going to be very interesting to see where that story goes tonight. So I am looking forward to that. SummerSlam, WrestleMania Backlash. I am expecting that to be like Roman versus Edge one-on-one. But, it might not be. Who knows? We could get a shock announcement tonight where Edge might say that's it. He's main evented WrestleMania. His body is not holding up and it might be time for him to walk away. You just really never know. So, Daniel might do that tonight. Both of them were, saying this is their last opportunity, or certainly could be. So, we'll see what tonight has got in store, and hopefully we get a clearer idea as to who Roman will be facing at WrestleMania Backlash. But in all fairness, that is still, a month away? So we've got plenty of time for this story to play out. But I would love to see Roman Big E at some point. And I do think Big E should be the one, the person that finally can beat Roman Reigns. I do think Big E should be that person. So, yeah, there's some very exciting things happening over on SmackDown. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Bianca story as well. And there could be some NXT call-ups. If Io Shirai comes out tonight, that'll be a nice little moment. So, We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I can't call it. I mean, I kind of feel like EO is main roster ready, but I was very surprised that she wasn't on Raw. I don't know that I'm expecting her on SmackDown because I'm expecting Becky for SmackDown. They can't have Becky and EO. That's greedy. So we'll have to see what happens. Vape Ross Vape says Impact hired Mauro Ranallo for a one-off show. Yeah, I believe he's going to be calling the Rich Swann Kenny Omega match, which is cool. They're kind of really building that to be quite a big pay-per-view now. And so bringing in Mauro Ranallo, I think, is a really nice touch. Anna said, hello, Anna. With all the opinions on Joe's release, we only know he was on a wrestler's wage whilst commentating. No one knows the extent of the injury that he had. That is true. Very much could be that he couldn't get back to being a wrestler. Very much could be that we know he was injured. We know that he wanted to get back. And certainly if the news has come through that that's it, that's the end of the road, then honestly, I think WWE have looked at it and maybe Samoa Joe just doesn't have the name recognition for SmackDown, so they can't put him on SmackDown. And Raw, well, I think they already had other plans. They were bringing in that, I don't know his name, Brennan Vink or whatever he's called. I still don't know his name. But I think they already probably had plans to bring him in. They needed to find somewhere for, and I think they probably like the Corey Byron relationship. You know, Corey and Byron kind of bounce off each other. And I think they probably like that. That's right up their street. Like, that's the kind of humor that Corey and Byron have with each other, where Byron's, having to go at, Corey's having to go at Byron, I think is right up Vince and Kevin Dunn's street. So I don't think there was any room on the commentary team for Samoa Joe. So, you're absolutely right. Days, have you not heard about Aleister Black possibly returning and some vignettes tonight, says Omar. Nope, I have not heard that news. I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying I haven't heard it. LFC Luke says Pat versus Roman, probably knowing WWE. Cheeseman Wrestling said, I think Edge will face Daniel at Backlash with the loser retiring. J14 said, Days, have you seen the new AEW Unrivaled Series 5 figures that they showed off today? No, I have not. To be honest, I don't really keep an eye out for the AEW figures so much. I probably should, but it's just not a collection that I've personally got into. I've done a decent job of being able to kind of keep away from those, because the last thing I needed was more figures. So no, I've not seen those, but I'm just going to have a look now. So we've got Hangman, who looks really good, actually. So Hangman looks cool. I like I don't know what you call those trousers. They're the kind of trousers that Shawn Michaels used to wear. You know, that kind of cowboys wear over the top of jeans. So he's got them on, and he's got a little face covering, which is good. You know, COVID, very important. So, that figure looks cool. John Moxley looks good. He's got a bit of an eye patch. He's got like a little leather jacket, combat trousers, camo trousers. So good facial expression as well. Looks like he's got his kind of clenched fists. He's ready to go. So Moxley looks good. Scorpio Sky looks good. He's got tag team championship belt, Scorpio Sky. So that's kind of cool. Looks just like him as well. Frankie Kazarian is okay. Kazarian's okay. He's got an SCU jacket and he's got a tag title. There's another Moxley, which looks all right. It comes with the AEW Championship. I don't like that one as much, actually. The Moxley with the eye patch looks better than the Moxley without. And we've got another Hangman who comes with a jug. and a face covering. He looks quite cool. Jungle Boy looks very good, but needs accessories. Luchasaurus looks incredible. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, so I've seen them. I think they look really, really good. Really good. Most of them, they're knocking it out of the park. So they have put out some really, really good stuff in that AEW line. There's been a few wobbles as well. I remember the Rio figure being a bit not great. And maybe the Young Bucks could have been a bit better, and I'm sure they will be. I'm sure we'll get many Young Bucks figures. But, yeah, just looking at those, like the Luchasaurus there looked really good from what I just saw. Scorpio Sky, Moxley looked good. Yeah, I think they're doing a decent job. I think if you are collecting that figure line, I think you'd probably be quite into it, quite excited by it. So, very cool. Notelock Jones said, we need to be blessed with Roman versus the Shockmaster. I'd love to see how they're going to try and book that. But JS17 said, Days, I was expecting more names to go, like the Riot Squad, Ricochet, Black, Brock, because apparently expired. They could always re-sign Jeff Hardy. Thoughts? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't really want to speculate on who would be the next people to go if there were to be more cuts. I didn't know if there would be more cuts today, and I'm just pleased. I'm pleased there isn't. Alex Bloomfield said, I'm not an AEW fan, but I did buy the Young Bucks and the Dustin figure. They're okay, but the Dustin one is awful. It's way too big. The same with one of the older Moxleys. The scale is way off. That's interesting. I've never done that. I've never done that where I've actually had the figures. I've seen them in shops. I think they were in the last toy hunt that I did. So I have seen them on the shelves and I've seen them in shops, but I've not compared the scale of them. So that's quite interesting. JS17 said, we read that one. Miss Clown 1 said, I won a virtual meet and greet with Big E. No way. That's really cool. Congratulations. That's really cool. Jungle Boy should come with a Marco stunt as an accessory. Yeah, that would be good. Did you hear that Peyton Royce Billy Kay got released, says Gorge Mogul? Yes. Sad news. Very, very sad news. We've kind of already gone over it. I mean, it was really disappointing to see all those names. I know that a lot of them might not be that surprising if there are going to be cuts. But I think the bigger surprise is, why are there cuts at all? Like, it doesn't make any sense, what with, the $1 billion they just got from Peacock. And apparently people were being told it was due to budget cuts. And apparently they're saving loads of money on not touring. The fact that they're not going around the country or the world or, like going to house shows. Because apparently house shows was losing money. And they're not having to do any of that. So they're not doing house shows. They're not touring around. They're just staying in the same place. I understand they're not having like fans come and you can argue they're not getting money from that. But as we said, apparently house shows, it wasn't making money for them. The amount of money it costs to drag everything around, the rings, the set, hire all the different buildings, the hotels, all this kind of stuff. Apparently it wasn't making any money anyway. So the fact they're not doing that, and the fact they just got $1 billion, I don't know. I mean, clearly they've got money because we've gone off and we've, hired Pat McCarthy. We've hired this new Brennan Vink. We've just brought in Taya Valkyrie. We've brought in Miko Satomura. We're trying to get Gabe Stevson. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're trying to get all these new people in the door. So, I don't know. Perhaps it's just good business, but like to get rid of people that you really don't have any plans for. But I can't believe they had no plans for Billy Kay. It's just, it hurts. It hurts too much. Slim Jim says maybe WWE and AEW have got some kind of deal. WWE is sending this talent so AEW can pick them up. I mean, Billy Kay and Samoa Joe, come on. Rick said, Days, I want a giveaway from BT Sport. A big framed WrestleMania poster. I'm so sick, and I can't wait for it to arrive. Very cool. Seems like people are winning competitions left, right, and Buffalo at the moment, which is great to see. Rain63 says, why keep wrestlers that you don't need? Don't see the outrage other than in releasing Joe and Billy Kay. Well, I think part of the outrage is that the wrestlers were told it was due to budget cuts. And maybe there's some truth in that. They're trying to cut them from the budget so they can spend the budget elsewhere. So maybe it was budget cuts. But I think it's just hard because they've just, had $1 billion. And I do understand that maybe people like Wesley Blake and people like Tucker. But you're right, sprinkled in there as well. You've got Billy Kay, you've got Samoa Joe, you've got some names that are quite surprising. And don't forget, like Bo Dallas, someone we haven't seen for a while. But Bo Dallas is someone that Fiend fans, not all, but some Fiend fans, wanted to see part of the Funhouse. So I think there's disappointment that they're not exploring that and that Bo Dallas won't be joining that storyline. I think there was obviously disappointment about Billy Kay. There was obviously disappointment about Samoa Joe because, he was doing, I thought, a good job on commentary. So I think it just comes down to that reason as well. Not only is it sad to see people lose their jobs when they've just signed such a big deal, but also some of the names in there, granted not all, but some of the names in there they're disappointing. So Andrus Hunter said, it makes me sad that Kalisto put a countdown clock for WrestleMania 38 and then got the news of his release. Io Shirai will be on SmackDown tonight. I am so excited, says Deadshot Plays. Yeah, she could be. She could be. There's a decent chance. We didn't see her on NXT. We didn't see Balor on NXT either. So there's a chance that both of those... Looks like Adam Cole is going to be sticking around in NXT. But Balor, Io... there's a chance that we do see them on the main roster at some point. Might not be SmackDown, and it might not be tonight. And I must admit, I did expect Io for Raw more so than SmackDown. But let's see. Let's see. I can't tell you for sure if there will be anyone. But we'll wait and see. Carlos says, why keep Roman Reigns? You don't need him. He's not fighting his own battles no more. He actually just looks like a joke up there. Jackius says, Days, it's going to be Roman versus Pat McCarthy at SummerSlam. Don't say that, bud. Don't say that. Otherwise, Vince might hear you and he might book it. Moldy Spoon said, I've seen an online story that Aleister Black has been filming some vignettes and will be returning soon. Okay, so we are getting a few people mentioning this now, so that's interesting. I'd love to see him come back. Really would. I was a big fan of Aleister Black. So I think that would be great. And I said before as well, I kind of feel like they'll give him a really good push because obviously they've, hurt him and upset him by firing his wife. And, for him to stick around, like, I think they're going to have to say to him, look, we've got big plans for you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And actually have some creative direction for him. And certainly if he's been filming vignettes, that would suggest that they do have some sort of creative direction. It's not like they're just bringing him down, chucking him in an Andre Battle Royal or anything like this. So, it might be quite an exciting time for Aleister Black. So, Days, do you see Edge Bryan at Mania Backlash? I could definitely get behind that. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about that. I suppose I was thinking more about who will face Roman, and my gut feeling was that it would probably be Edge. But so I wasn't really thinking about Edge versus Daniel Bryan. So, that could be cool. That'd be a good little match. I'd be down for that. Broken Dream says there are reports out there saying that Balor and Strong are going to stay in NXT. Okay. Harley said, Days, I think they'll be teasing Sammy Kevin reunion and eventually they will reunite to face Ziggler and Rude at Backlash. I could see that, yep. Also, what is Seth's new feud? Maybe he turns face to feud with Roman. Could be fun. Yeah, that would be good. The only thing I would say is there's a lot of face turns, heel turns, all this people switching all over the place. I'd kind of like it if people would just stay as they are for a bit. So, it's kind of like, is Sammy going to turn... Or is Sammy going to turn face and side with Kevin? And then is Seth going to turn face so he can feud with Roman? I don't know. I don't know if I would turn loads of people. I think I'd be more inclined to have a look at like doing Roman Cesaro, or Roman against maybe Shinsuke or something like that, rather than turning Seth. I kind of think that Seth's all right as being just underneath Roman. Just that kind of heel that's just underneath. So I'm kind of all right with that for a bit, but I'm sure at some point we will get them two facing each other. It's too big of a match to ignore, isn't it? So at some point, I think that will go that way. Austin says, imagine fans are expecting Io, but instead we get Eva Marie. Just like people thought that we would get Becky at WrestleMania or Raw, but it turned out to be the Bellas and Charlotte. Ha ha. Eva Marie, I heard a report. I mean, I saw an image of her not long ago where she had, I can't remember what colour hair, but she changed her hair. She's not all red everything now. I think she's like all pink everything. And the report was that she is just waiting for the right time. They're waiting for the right time for her. Obviously, there was reports that she was meant to be a part of that Angel Garza storyline, and clearly wasn't. But, I don't know. I don't know when they're going to pull the trigger on Eva Marie, to be honest. I don't know when we're going to see her. But I think that there's a good chance it'll be sometime soon. I'm sure she's signed. I'm sure that she's signed. So I don't quite know what we're waiting for. But maybe it was just to get WrestleMania out the way. So you might be onto something. That's all I need. We've put Pat McCarthy on commentary. Can you imagine if Eva Marie walks out on this show tonight? Imagine this. This would just be like a day's nightmare show. We've added Pat McCarthy. We've brought in Eva Marie. I mean, honestly, I don't even know how we could make it any worse for me. We've fired Billy Kay. We've brought in Pat McCarthy, and we've got Eva Marie lurking in the shadows. I mean, come on, throw me a bone here, WWE. Help me out. I'm desperately trying to be a good fan. I'm desperately trying here to like give you my support, and you're doing I'm basically being spat in the face repeatedly. I mean, why don't you just fire Roman and Asuka and let's just be done with this thing? Put me out my misery. Jim Gore said, one would think that Seth's current gimmick would come into conflict with Roman at some point. Brian said, Days, do you think they might rehire Billy, seen as she is so charismatic? Hopefully with Peyton. They did rehire Drake Maverick last year. I mean, I would hope that they would. I think he went online, cut a video. I think it really connected with the fans, and I think WWE saw it, and they it was nothing to keep him around, so they put him in NXT, and they rehired him. That's what I hope happened, because I mean the other scenario was he was never actually fired at all. And that video message was a vignette, basically, and that wasn't true. I mean, I don't know. I hated it. I thought it was really distasteful to use his firing as a storyline. I hated it. So I wouldn't want them to follow that path for Billy Kay. If they want to, go, okay, we've seen there's, people have really like her, and we're going to give her an opportunity again and bring her back in or whatever, then that would be great. I'd love to see her back. So I really thought she had some. I was just waiting for them to get going with some, and I kind of thought that her and Carmella might be it. I kind of thought that them two together, with Carmella being the sexy one, and Billie Kay trying to copy her, very much like Mizdow and The Miz back in the day. I thought that had potential. I thought there was definitely some comedy we could have got from that. And so I'm just really disappointed they didn't see it, or Kevin Dunn didn't see it and managed to convince Vince there was nothing there, when I think to a lot of us there was. And there's not really like a female in that women's division that was doing what Billie Kay was doing. There was no one in that women's division that was really delivering comedy. I suppose Asuka does to a degree, a little bit, with a shout in and a easy peasy and a dancing and all of that. Maybe Bailey with Ding Dong Hello a little bit, but and her Michael Cole stuff. But I kind of feel that they're different to Billie. Billie was like really doing a different kind of comedy. She was basically, her whole character was the comedy. Like, Bailey is a great wrestler. Asuka's an incredible wrestler. That's not their whole characters. But for Billie, she was a bit more R-Truth in the way that her whole character was a comedy thing. And there's not really a woman on the roster that's like that. So I do feel there's a need for that in the women's division. And I thought she did it effortlessly. I thought she did really well at everything they gave her. And I don't know, we can sit here and just say how shocked we were, how disappointed we were till the cows come home. And it obviously doesn't change anything. But it was very disappointing. It was very disappointing. And I was, really, really sad about it yesterday. But as I was with all of them being released, but, you have to move on, don't you? And wish her all the best and really hope she finds a way of getting back, to be honest. And we'll see. We'll see what her journey, where it takes her. I mean, it must be really hard because she's from Australia along with Peyton. Obviously, Peyton's got married. I don't know if Billie's in a relationship or whatnot. But to move from Australia to America, to live there for a few years, you've only moved there for WWE, so you've been at the Performance Center, then you've been a part of the main roster, you've gone around the US, but you've got your home, you're in the US, you've got your friends that work at WWE, and then you're just completely out. I mean, that is, people that she grew up with, family, high school friends, like her whole social circle, everything you would imagine is WWE. And granted, she's still going to be able to hang out with those people and be in touch with those people. Not going to just completely shut her off from their lives, but it's also not going to be the same, is it? I mean, like, she is only there for WWE. She came from Australia. It's not like she's American and she just goes back home to be with her folks. I mean, who knows? Maybe she does sell up, go back to Australia. Honestly, I don't know. It's just rough, innit? It's just rough. So, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes till we go to SmackDown. And as we said, it should be a very interesting show tonight. Because this is the first show after WrestleMania. I know we've already had Raw, but we haven't heard from Bianca. We haven't heard from Roman. We don't know what's next for either of those. Obviously, we've got Apollo. Sure, we're going to hear from him as well. We don't know what's next for Big E. There was no surprises or call-ups on Raw. Will we get something on SmackDown? We're going to have to wait and see. And we've only got a few minutes to wait now, so the excitement is building. Harley said, Days, apparently a major reason why they chose Roman to win is because of big money matches. Cena, Brock, Rock, all those matches. JS17 said, Days, my prediction for the next event of the Big Four, SummerSlam, is going to be Seth Roman. We'd also get Drew Lashley versus Brock. We'll get Apollo versus Edge and Sheamus versus Keith Lee. Thoughts? They sound like perfectly fine matches. I mean, I don't know how you would do Seth Roman unless you turn one of them. And which you could do, but I don't know. I feel like Big E should be in the mix somewhere. and Drew versus Lashley versus Brock. I'm not a massive fan of triple threat matches, so I don't know if that. I don't know. I think I'd just rather see like Lashley Brock, to be honest. But I understand then what do you do with Drew? So it's going to be quite interesting to see, where we go over these next few months. Days, did you see the video I put on Twitter about Pat and I tagged you in it? I think I retweeted it, didn't I, bud? I'm sure I retweeted one that you sent me. So I don't know if you've sent me something else. Hayden said Peyton is married to Sean Spears, a.k.a. Ty Dillinger, who used to be in WWE. Now he's in AEW. Yes. And you'd have to say that he is obviously, petitioning to get his wife a job with AEW. And honestly, I don't think bringing the Iconics in is a bad move for AEW. I don't think that's a bad move at all. So we'll have to see. Days, did you see Alistair's vignette on Instagram, says Lord French Fries. Oh, what? His vignette's already out there. That's quick, isn't it? We heard that he'd filmed some. People were saying he's been filming them. I didn't realise that they were on Instagram. No, I'm never on Instagram. I just never go on. So I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it on Twitter either. So what's it like? Is it good? Is it short? Is it just like a little taster? Or is it a bit longer and reveals something? In my mind, it's going to be quite dark. It's going to be in like a forest. It's going to be moody. In my mind, if it's on Instagram, it's going to be quite short as well. It's just going to be a taster. So, I don't know. Let me know. Am I a million miles off there? Days, what could you see Apollo and Dabba-Kato doing? Yeah, of course, we're going to be seeing Commander Aziz tonight. Or at least we think that's his name. WWE registered that name a while ago, just before WrestleMania. And then here's some guy in some military attire. So I think if you put one and one together, I think it would look like he is going to be this Commander Aziz. So what was the question? What do I see them doing? I see them dominating the mid-card scene. I think they're going to be great mid-carders. I think if things catch fire and they're quite vicious and, they really connect and their segments do well, then they could be onto something. Could see the new Sergeant Slaughter and General Adnan, Colonel Mustafa. Could be kind of the next wave of that sort of old school. It is a very old school heel, isn't it? It's a very traditional heel. So I suppose that's why I do like it. It's only the accent I've only ever struggled with, but I think both of them together look great. So hard to say what they're going to go on to do because it depends if it works, it connects, and the people respond to it. So, but I like what I've seen so far. Right, we are about to start. Edward Brown said, did you hear that Roman's win was invalid? I don't believe it was. They're going to look into it, but they're going to struggle to make some of it because Twitter seems to be quite comfortable that all four shoulders were down on the mat. Do hate that alarm, but equally it is a great little reminder to change over, and we are up and running. Beep beep, says Laurie. Beep beep indeed. Wait, what do you think about Seth's new theme? I haven't properly heard it. I mean, I did hear that it was a bit more upbeat and sounded all right. The kind of consensus was that I think people were into it, but I don't know that people were like losing their minds about it. So I think people liked it, but not much more than that. Alex said, I personally don't think any of the release stars would be a good fit for AEW. You get brought in, and if you weren't that good in WWE, like Rusev, then you get lost. The women's division isn't that good still. Days, how are you? I'm good, thank you, Edward. I'm good. I'm looking forward to the show, seeing what we're going to have in store for tonight. I'd imagine we're going to kick things off with the big dog Roman Reigns. Have you ever heard of a ghost apple? No. No, never. Never. I mean, there's clearly potential for a ghost apple, but I've never seen one. Clay Harrison said Days Edge had Daniel's shoulders down when Reigns pinned him, so Edge should be champion. I don't know that that's true. I don't know what the rules are on that because Edge's shoulders were down as well. So I don't know that you can say that Edge would be champion because his shoulders were down on the mat and he was being pinned at the time. So, and plus also the other thing to factor in is the ref's decision is final. They've told us that many, many times. So the referee has made the call. Roman was announced as the winner. It's something they might be interested to go back and have a look at as a talking point. But they've always said the ref's decision is final. And the ref's decision was Roman wins the match. And Roman is the rightful winner of the match. He was pinning both guys and both guys had their shoulders down. So I don't know that there's much in that, to be honest. But if they want to make something out of it, they can. But I certainly wouldn't expect them to be stripping Roman of the title, let's put it that way. And saying that Edge is the rightful winner because the ref's decision is final. It is Roman that's coming out, by the way. Roman holds up that Universal Championship. We got Jey Uso, we got Paul Heyman. Heyman staring at that Universal Championship. Lord, he is hot, hot, hot. Thank you. Shout out to you, Laurie. Shout out to you, my friend. Done a little bit of working out these past few days. Not much. In fact, I haven't done any at all. But it's great that you've noticed. 8K camera. I always thought that Michael Cole and Corey Graves were an amazing pair, says Dom15. Days, rumors say that Big E versus Roman is going to be the next feud. Smackdown Baby says, Miss Clown 1, wrestle with Andy. Shout out to you. Do you think we get that Jimmy Uso return soon? Well, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because like we have seen him. We know that he's all right. I mean, like it's not like I don't know. He's like got his leg in a cast or anything. We saw him at Hell in a Cell not long ago. Well, actually, it was long ago now, about 5 months ago. So we know that he is maybe not cleared to compete, but I'm very surprised we haven't seen him already. But perhaps they are just waiting for him to make his proper return where he can actually wrestle. So it's a really good point. Where is he? Where is he? Right, Roman has made his way down. Do you know, when it comes to Jimmy Uso, I've seen no reports on him. I haven't seen anyone saying that he's on the verge of returning or anything like this. But he can't be far off. He really can't be far off. Okay, so Roman holds up that Universal Championship. Austin said, Days, I heard a rumor that someone sexy was making their debut today. Why didn't you tell us that you was in WWE? Wow. It's a big surprise that you've just ruined. But I'm gonna run down in a minute and punch Roman in the face. Are we taking anything away from Black's cryptic Instagram post? I haven't seen it. I can't take anything away from it because I haven't seen it. But there's lots of people saying that he's been filming vignettes and he's going to be making a return soon. So I think a return is imminent. They're piping in "You suck" chants. Roman just has a little look around. So he has a look around as "You suck" chants are being piped in. And they've got everyone doing the thumbs down. I mean, do you get kicked out of the Thunderdome if you don't do that? I don't understand. Why do people accept being told what to do? Right, thumbs down, everyone. Thumbs down. Roman looking around. They're piping in more "you suck" chants. I mean, these are fake crowd noises. We've put a lot of eyes on SmackDown. For the new viewers, so Roman says, can you tell the new viewers the men that I beat? So Paul Heyman just going down the accomplishments of Edge and Daniel. I've just seen a woman on the screens wearing a head of the table shirt, but she was still giving a thumbs down, was she? That's weird, isn't it? Oh, I hate you, Roman. I hate you so much. I've spent $30 on this shirt. I mean, in all fairness, his shirt says, acknowledge me. It doesn't say that you have to do that positively, does it? In all fairness. In all fairness, he is getting exactly what he's asking for. Acknowledge me. Okay. Boo! I want to see Roman versus Cesaro. God, there's a woman in the background who is losing her mind. There's a woman in the background. She might be a Muppet. She's like... Honestly, they might want to get on their headset and go, that was great, everyone. You can stop now. Especially the ginger woman that's gone mental. No one wants to face me. These are Hall of Famers. I smashed them. Nobody. Don't no one want to step to me now? Well, let's just shut down SmackDown then, shall we? Apparently no one wants to step to Roman now, so... Time to go. That's it. We've done our obligation. We've come out. We've done a promo. Okay. 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 I'm into this. I'm really into this. Welcome to the top of the card, Cesaro. Cesaro versus Roman Reigns. Cesaro staring at Roman. Roman doesn't look very impressed. Cesaro takes a look at that Universal Championship. Roman's leaving. So Roman leaves. Jay and Paul Heyman leave as well. So Roman's not sticking around to see what he's got to say. Roman's like, full. Hey, I'm into that. Cesaro throws the microphone away. Seed has been planted, though. He looks really thin. Does anyone else think that Cesaro looks thin? Does anyone else think his suits are just too big? I feel like we could scale down these suits. I think we could get them... Like, he needs to go to a tailor. It looks to me like his suits... I don't know if he's lost weight or something like that, but his suits just look a little bit too big. I don't like Cesaro, but it is cool. Roman, acknowledge Cesaro. Part of the role. Tribal Chief versus Swiss Superman. Austin said, will this be Cesaro's first time fighting for a world title? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, there's every chance that he has fought for a title on, one of them throwaway championship matches on Raw. Like, join us tonight, Cesaro versus Seth. Or something like this. In one of them matches that you just know the title ain't changing hands on. So I honestly couldn't say this is the first time. But certainly, if we are building to it being at a pay-per-view, I can't remember him competing for the title in a pay-per-view. I can't remember him competing for the title full stop, if I'm perfectly honest. But it's one of those whereby if someone went, actually, he did compete for it versus Seth back in 2015 on an episode of Raw, I'd be like, okay, fine. Because I remember, wasn't it Seth that was doing like a bit of a challenge? I seem to remember Neville versus Seth, I think, for the championship. And like, it's a great match. This is when Neville was still in like the purple kind of Mighty Mouse kind of phase. He hadn't turned heel at this point. He'd just come up from NXT. And he has a match against Seth. And it's brilliant. It's a brilliant match. And I'm sure that's for the title in the UK. And like Seth just keeps his belt, gets the foot on the rope kind of a thing. And I remember their matches being awesome. So it wouldn't be a big surprise if Cesaro had actually fought for the title in one of those type matches. But I certainly can't remember it if he has. Laurie said Cesaro can't pick up Roman like he did to Seth. LD Cool says Pat on commentary is good and he's more calming than Corey. What's the countdown clock? It should just be a little running clock for the show. So if something happens halfway into the show, then people can quite easily go to that point in the stream if they want to find it. Money MW said Pat is trash. Pat is not a good commentator. John said, I was kind of surprised that Roman and Jay didn't try to beat up Cesaro for daring to get into the Tribal Chief's ring/yard. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think they're just not bothered. I mean, he's talking about beating up Hall of Famers and out comes Cesaro. I mean, if this is the next feud, there's going to be, I would imagine, a lot of Roman just not concerned. He's not on my... I've just beaten Hall of Famers. So this guy is just not on my level. I think there'll be a lot of overlooking Cesaro. And maybe we just got a bit of that foreshadowed with them jumping out the ring and not even sticking around to give him time to talk. They're not interested in what Cesaro's got to say. Because he's just not a threat. Or perceived to be a threat. Mike Savage Show says Cesaro is a former US champion. He is. He's won the tag titles a few times also. I don't know that he's ever won the Intercontinental. But, yeah, this is the first... I want to say the first time we've seriously got to the top of the card. As we said, he may have fought on an episode of Raw. One of them matches that only gets announced on the day kind of a thing. But... No, if this is the start of a feud and it's going to be Roman versus Cesaro at WrestleMania Backlash, then I believe this is going to be the first time he's going to have this sort of a push. So, yeah, it's tasty, man. I'm here for it. It seems like many of you are as well. Here's Cesaro backstage. Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville. Oh, harsh words. Cesaro says he would step up to Roman. He wants a match tonight? Sonya says, let me talk to Roman and I'll see if he's happy to compete tonight. So we might be getting Roman Cesaro tonight. Not for the title, but we might be getting them two competing tonight. Sonya was like, let me check with him first. And Cesaro was like, all right. Aren't you in charge, though, round here? We're just seeing at WrestleMania, Cesaro and Seth Rollins in what was a very, very good match. It was a very good match. I'm sick of Sonya popping up all the time, says Miss Clownwell. Here comes Otis. Here comes the Otis. Here comes the Otis. Otis. So we got Otis coming down. It's going to be Otis versus, I think it's Rey, isn't it? Otis versus Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio. One-on-one action, and amazingly, we're already coming up to 20 minutes into the show. Like, this is already going quite quick. Already we're making moves. Sam Piboon said, shout out to you, Sam. Sam says, if WWE book the match at WrestleMania Backlash, will Roman lose against Cesaro, the Universal Championship? Personally, I would say no. I don't know that Cesaro is going to win the Universal Championship that easily. I think if Cesaro is going to become Universal Champion, you're going to want to put him through the ringer. You know, he's going to have to get beaten up by Jay a few times. You might even have Jimmy return. We talked about Jimmy earlier. So you might even have Jimmy return. And so the odds would be stacked against Cesaro. It would be very unusual or very weird storytelling, in my opinion, to have Cesaro go up against Roman and just win. I suppose you could tell that story if the story is going to be that they're going to overlook him. If the story is going to be that Roman is going to not train properly or not prepare properly, or, you know, maybe even spend a bit of time talking about someone else. Maybe he'll be talking about Edge or talking about someone else or some other problem that's going on and not focused on Cesaro. And then Cesaro shocks the world by winning at WrestleMania Backlash. I suppose there's a story there, but I don't know. Do you want to see the title change hands at WrestleMania Backlash? I suppose it could. Why not? But I think I'd save it. I'd save it for SummerSlam. And I don't mind if Cesaro is the person that's going to beat Roman. I don't mind that. The only thing I would say is I hope that they have got a long-term plan and we're not just putting the title on Cesaro for the sake of it. Like, if we're going to put the title on Cesaro, hopefully there's a plan whereby we know how long he's going to carry it, when he's going to drop it, what feuds he's going to have with it. Like, hopefully there's a plan there. I'm sure there isn't, but hopefully there is. But to be perfectly truthful, I think you've got to say it's unlikely that Cesaro will win. I think Cesaro probably ends up getting jumped or something will happen. Or he wins the match by count out, wins the match by DQ, and the title doesn't change hands. Loonies, Saint Hill, shout out to you, my friend Loonies. Really appreciate the support. Appreciate everyone joining us this evening. A lot of excitement for tonight, of course, because this is the first SmackDown after WrestleMania. SmackDown tends to get better ratings than Raw. And not only that, I think the two big talking points coming out of WrestleMania were Bianca and Roman, and both of them are on SmackDown. So no surprise that there's quite a bit of excitement around tonight's show. So very much looking forward to seeing what they've got in store in that second hour. I suppose really I'm expecting the show for the next half an hour to just be okay. I'm not expecting really much in the next half an hour, but they always tend to have something as hour one goes to hour two to try and keep you around. And then I do think we should get quite a tasty second hour. And currently looks like our main event tonight might be Roman Reigns versus Cesaro, which is quite a good little main event, that. Right, we are underway with Otis versus Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio with a seated senton and again crashing down on Otis. Otis better be the winner of the next King of the Ring, says Nodfreeze. Brady said, do you like Rey's old mask or the one with the mohawk? I mean, there's not a great deal of difference between them, but I mean, the mohawk's quite cool. I honestly don't mind. But I thought the mohawk was a nice development. Dane Film said, Days, what do you think if Roman squashes Seth in the build for Roman versus Cesaro to give Cesaro doubt that he can win, as Cesaro's biggest win is against Seth? I wouldn't do that because that's heel versus heel. Roman versus Seth is a big match, and I wouldn't use that match in the build for Roman Cesaro. So I kind of feel like if you're going to do Roman Seth, that's SummerSlam. Do you know what I mean? That's just a big, big match that deserves its own build and whatever. And heel versus heel, you'd have to be turning Seth face as well, so it gets a bit messy. So I personally wouldn't go that way. 619 by Ray. Otis down in the middle of the ring. We do have Dominic on the outside. Chad Gable on the outside as well. Nice crucifix pin there by Ray. And he gets the pin. So Rey Mysterio with the victory. Jumps out the ring and... I mean, they're saying how big was that victory? It's not that big. He's beaten Otis. Do you know what I mean? Rey Mysterio, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, arguably the greatest masked wrestler of all time, has managed to beat Otis. And Michael Cole says, how big is that victory? Not that big is the answer. Not that big. Okay, so Ray beats Otis. We're backstage. We've got Kayla Braxton talking to Paul Heyman. Those two are quite fun together on Talking Smack. She's just chatting away with him, and Paul Heyman looks absolutely horrified. She's just having a chat, blah, 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 blah. Paul Heyman's like, he's not feeling it. Whoa, 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 hang on. Up next, Roman Reigns versus... So it turns out Roman Reigns is down for a match. It's next. I thought that'd be our main event. That was fast, wasn't it? Apparently he said yes, and we've already made a graphic. I hate that type of ending they just showed he could have kicked out. Who was the guy on the ladder? That was Ladderman. Brand new wrestler that they're bringing in, Ladderman. He constantly goes everywhere with that ladder. Great in ladder matches. Not so great in any other match. He won with the most electrifying move ever. Gozo said his shoulders weren't down. Definitely a screwy finish. Slocky said, Days, I find it weird that Paul is more scared of Roman than he is of Brock. And Brock was in the UFC. Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a different relationship. I mean, the way that he is playing this is that he is very respectful of Roman, and just does everything he asks, and just thinks he's brilliant and everything. And it's good. It works right now, but certainly the way he is being at the moment isn't like what he was with Brock. You are right. He didn't seem as fearful of Brock, but I bet he was. I bet it's just because Brock wasn't really threatening him the way that Roman is, Roman has turned, and he's properly turned, and Paul Heyman is really adding to that. It's a great package. It's a great package. I can't wait for Brock to come back and, see, do they go against each other? Do we get Roman versus Brock? Paul Heyman on a pole? I don't know what we do. But there's lots of options. It's very exciting. I mean, honestly, Roman versus Brock at SummerSlam, it's one of the biggest matches you could do. Roman versus Brock at SummerSlam. Huge. Joaquin said, does your mom look like that when you talk to her? No, when she talks to me. God. She just talks and talks. And you think I talk? Where'd you think I get it from? So, she constantly talks and talks and talks. So that was a real insight into my relationship with my mum, really, where she just talks and talks and talks to me, and I just look horrified at her, trying to think about when I can walk away. Billie Kay is married but likes to keep her relationship private. Is that true? I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. Ladderman for Money in the Bank. He's got a great opportunity. They're too scared to put him in because they know that it's his match. It's his match. Days, what do you think of having a multi-man match for the US or IC championships? There's too many one-on-ones. It'd be a good way of using up some superstars. I don't mind it. I mean, it's always a bit unfair on the champion, of course. Like multi-man matches, I don't mind so much for number one contenders. But it's a bit moody that you can lose your title. Because really, we're trying to find who's the best, aren't we? Who is the best, and that person deserves the belt, and the belt signifies you are the best. With multi-man matches, I don't know that you can really claim to be the best. Like, luck plays a big part in multi-man matches, because you can lose the title without you actually being pinned. So, I don't know. I'm never overly keen on them when it comes for belts. But they are fun, like ladder matches for the IC. If the story is right, where loads of people claim that they should be champ, or they deserve the opportunity, or do you know what I mean? If there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of people, then they make sense. But I wouldn't do them for the sake of doing them. Earlier tonight, which was literally 5-10 minutes ago. Okay, we've got Kayla Braxton talking to Paul Heyman.
That's a question. Will Roman Reigns accept Cesaro's challenge? Yes, but that's what we do around here in WWE. We put smiles on the faces of Neanderthals.
Okay. So we've got... What happened on Saturday, Kayla? I love their relationship. There was no rain delay. Those were tears from the angels. I love that line. The angels were crying early on day one for what Roman was going to be doing on day two. He's too good. He's too good on the microphone. What's next for Edge? Well, hopefully we find out tonight. Paul Heyman is different with Roman because Roman can actually talk on the mic for himself and Brock cannot. That's a really good point, yeah. Paul Heyman has to do a lot of the heavy lifting, doesn't he? But Not so much with Roman. Is a joke. Heyman says that Cesaro is a joke. Let's put an end to this joke. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of mention of brass rings, aren't there? Plenty of mention of brass rings. Oh. Right, I don't know if we're back or not. I can see that we hit a little bit of lag. We've got Sami Zayn in the ring right now. So we've got Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn is down on his knees. He says that Logan Paul was there and meant to be helping him. We are back. That's great. Okay, good. Yeah, a little bit of a wobble. So Sami Zayn says Logan Paul's mind was poisoned. So Sami Zayn in the ring right now. Okay. They got in his head. So Sammy is down on his knees saying that they got into his head. Days, what's next for Edge? Don't know yet, but we're going to have to wait and see. Okay, so Sammy's saying that that is the only reason Kevin won. So we've still got a crazed Sami Zayn right now. Okay, so he wants revenge? He says, tonight there's nothing to distract me. Okay. Oh, here he comes. Here comes Kevin Owens. Give me what I want. Sammy is like rambling rabbit. Well, he was just calling out Kevin Owens, and Owens is making his way down to the ring. Days, is Logan Paul on SmackDown tonight? I don't think so. I've not seen him advertised. I think he was probably just on the show for WrestleMania, so I'm not expecting him tonight. Bryce said, P.S. not gonna lie, made top by video why Roy should become Raw Women's Champion. Robin813 said, Days, did you see that Meltzer gave Young Bucks match on Wednesday 5 stars, but not Volta? He gave the Young Bucks no, he didn't. He couldn't have. No. That match was boring. I was bored. No, he couldn't have. Don't tell me he's done that. Is this April Fool's? That match was awful. I honestly almost switched off the TV. I was just not into that match in the slightest. Did absolutely nothing for me. That's one of the worst. That is one of the worst 5-star rated matches. Well, I might go on record to say it is the worst 5-star rated matches if he has done that. I haven't seen that, no. It was, honestly, it was just move. Did they do a lot of moves? Absolutely. 5 stars if you want to see all the wrestling moves in one match. but there was no emotion to it. It's just boring. It's a really boring match. I'm stunned. If he's done that, I'm stunned. But then, I mean, I don't agree with everything that Dave Meltzer does and says. But it is still interesting to get his perspective on it. Dave Meltzer also gave Fiend Orton 1 star. It's probably about right, though, isn't it? I mean, maybe a little low. I mean, at least they had a proper match, but I can't say I'm too surprised by that. Meltzer also... Oh, but -1 star. Okay. -1 star. That feels a bit harsh. That feels a bit harsh. Did he really give Fiend Orton -1 star? He knows how to make friends, doesn't he? Apparently Twitter is down. Well, I wanted to see Roman Cesaro as well. I know we had a little bit of lag, and maybe that's why Twitter is down, because we had a little bit of lag. Maybe it's down because it's disappointed that we're not getting Roman Cesaro. Maybe it's down because it's just heard that Dave Meltzer has given that Young Bucks match 5 stars. Maybe it's down because it's had to listen to 40 minutes of Pat McCarthy on commentary. I don't know. I don't have these answers. But there's many, many reasons as to why Twitter could be down. But Twitter, if you are watching, pick yourself up, my friend. Yeah? There's always a brighter tomorrow. Days, did he check Google? He did check Google. I don't know what that means. Right, we've got Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn in a rematch right now. This is KO. Going Ghost, shout out to you, says, OMG, why is that A-Clown, a.k.a. Pat, doing commentary? Time to hit the mute button and listen to Days do commentary. Going Ghost, shout out to you, buddy. Yeah. He is proving to be very popular, isn't he, at the moment? Old Pat McCarthy. Right, on the outside, we've got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn getting thrown into the ring. Big chops here by Kevin. Kevin Owens all over Sami Zayn right now. So this is a WrestleMania rematch. And no Logan Paul this time. And these two had a fantastic match. It didn't really get the time that it deserved. And it's hard to know. I mean, what do you do here? Do you know what I mean? You've just had a great match at WrestleMania, and now here you are on SmackDown. Can't do the exact same match, can you? So you've got to mix it up a little bit. But I wonder what they're trying to get out of this. Are they trying to just have a great match? Or is it going to set something else up? Is someone going to interfere? Over the top rope. In the rope, Sammy. Big strike to the back of the head. Is Logan Paul on SmackDown tonight? I don't believe so. Kirby said, Days, if you're going to talk about McCarthy, at least pronounce his name right. No. Robin said, Dave Meltzer thought that the Young Bucks match was better than Bianca versus Sasha. He's an idiot. I mean, he's an idiot. It's one of the most boring matches that I've seen in a while, to be honest. I mean, it went on forever. It went on for a long time. They did a load of moves. There were some nice moments in there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this match is a disaster. I'm not saying that it deserved 1 star. You know, if he'd have given it 3 stars, fine. 3.5 stars, fine. 3.75. Wow, Dave, come on. 4 stars, Dave. Are you drunk? Right? But 5 stars. 5 stars is so unbelievable. We're saying it's one of the best tag matches ever. I mean, WWE has only ever had, 30-odd 5-star matches? So we're saying there's only 30 matches in the history of WWE that is better than that Young Bucks match from Wednesday. That Young Bucks match from Wednesday. Unbelievable. Dave Moucher thought the match was better than the triple threat from Mania. He thought it was better than HBK versus HBK and Undertaker. Now, guys, come on. He's right. I've changed my mind. He's completely right. He's completely right. Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25. Who cares? Who cares? But that match on Wednesday. Did you see all the moves that were getting no-sold? Did you see them? Oh, it was so good. If you love moves, if you've got like a sheet of paper with loads of moves on and you want to play moves bingo, right? And you just want to tick off lots of different moves, you can have so much fun with that match because they do pretty much everything. I think we established the only thing they didn't do was a spear. I'm pretty sure I saw everything. We saw destroyers, we saw power bombs, we saw clotheslines, drop kicks, super kicks, double knees. We saw it all. Like it was all in there. Suplexes, superplexes, back body drops, fall away slams. It was wonderful. Everything was in. I mean, it didn't have any emotion. Didn't matter. And if I hadn't been streaming, I definitely would have turned it off. But other than that, I mean, way better than Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Way better than the main event of WrestleMania. Both of them better than Bianca and Sasha. I don't get it. I don't get it. I love the Logan sucks chant, says Clay. Daze just tweeted you what he rated him. Shout out to you, James. Thank you, my friend. It was the best one that I have seen, says AG Games. I'm sorry, people are judging Pat without even listening to him, says Corey K. Twitter was down for a minute for about 19,000 users. William said, the only match that I really liked at WrestleMania was Braun versus Shane. I like how Braun withstood Shane's brain with Braun and a chaotic brain of his own. Other Mother said, has Sammy gone yet? No, we're at commercial break right now. If you are just joining us, I'm not ignoring the action. We are just at commercial break. You are kidding. You compared the 4 jobbers against Taker and Michaels. Yep, he seemed to prefer the Young Bucks to that match. Lauren said, Meltzer's WrestleMania ratings are out. Can you give us your thoughts on those? I can have a quick look at them. Sure. I haven't seen them. Let's have a look. WrestleMania. Whoa, whoa. WrestleMania. Fighting to survive. Pump it up, pump it up. Right. So he gives Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre 375, which is exactly what I gave it. Women's tag match, he breaks it down into like individual matches. He says 0.75 for the first match, 0.5 for the next one, 1.25 for the next one, 1.75 for the final part. So probably all in all, that comes out at a 1.25. I gave it 1.75, so kind of in the same ballpark there. Cesaro versus Seth, he's given 4 stars. I gave it 3.5. I did say that I could go to 3.75. He's gone to 4, so he has definitely gone higher than I would. I wouldn't have gone to 4 for it. But I'd still argue we're in the same neighborhood. So I must admit the first 3 matches here, kind of in the same ballpark. New Day versus AJ and Omasi gives 2.25. Yeah, I do think that's... I think that match is better than the women's tag turmoil, but nowhere near Lashley, Drew, or Cesaro, Seth. So New Day versus AJ and Omos 2.25. Fine. I think that's actually, again, around the same ballpark that I gave it. Braun Shane, he's gone lower than me. I gave this 2.5. He's gone 1.5. I feel like that's low. to be perfectly honest. So I'd be interested to know why he's gone as low as that. So I can't say it bothers me. I wasn't crazy about that match. But, yeah, he's gone 1.5. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, Miz and Morrison, he's gone 3.5. He's gone a bit higher than that than I did. I think it was a 275. He's gone 3.5, so he's gone a bit higher, but nothing too drastic. And then Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, I said 425. He's gone 4. So, to be perfectly honest, I can't really moan. We're obviously not identical, but we're sort of there or thereabouts. I said Bianca Sasha was the best match of night 1. He's got it joint with Seth Rollins and Cesaro. So I said the worst match was the women's tag turmoil. He's gone with that as well. Everything else kind of falling in the middle. So yeah, honestly, nothing that really bothers me about his rating on night 1 there. Nothing that I would moan about. -1 star. He says the worst match is Fiend Orton. Now, I would argue that Fiend Orton, forget the entrance, right? Forget Alexa. The match itself is, all right, is no selling or whatever, but it's okay. The match is okay. And I kind of feel that the women's tag turmoil is worse. Like, the women's tag turmoil is... You can't tell me that the women's tag turmoil is a better match than Fiend and Orton. I mean, it was botchy. It was really botchy. That women's match was really botchy. But he's gone -1 star. So, amazingly, I would probably argue that's too low. Me, of all people, who... Not a fan of The Fiend, not a fan of, the silliness and all this kind of nonsense. In fairness, there wasn't really much, in that match. No supernatural stuff, apart from Alexa changing, but... yeah, I'd say that's a bit low. Baszler, Jax against Tamina and Natalya, he's gone 225, that's about what I went. Owens and Sami Zayn, he's gone 375, I think it's about what I went. Riddle, Sheamus, 4. Yeah. I think I said 375 on that as well. So, he's gone 4. Big E, Apollo, 3. Yep. I agree with that. Asuka, Rhea Ripley, 375. Quite surprised at that. I was lower, to be perfectly honest. And then he's gone 4.5 Roman Reigns, Edge, Daniel Bryan. And I said that was a 4.5 match. So... I can't get my head around this. I don't understand. I'm kind of in agreement with his WrestleMania scores. They're really where I was. Okay, not identical. There's like half a score out on a few of the matches, whatever. But by and large, he's saying the best match is my best match. He's saying the best match of night 1 was my best match of night 1. He's saying the worst matches are my worst matches. I don't know. I'm all right with those. So how is this same person saying that the Young Bucks had a 5-star match? What's that about? So Owens wins, by the way. Kevin Owens has won the match. We're seeing Apollo. And it is Commander Aziz. Will Alexander says, your enthusiasm for The Fiend used to be incredible. Wow, The Fiend used to be incredible. Many would argue that he still is. But shout out to you, Will Alexander. Right, we're 52 minutes into the show, and we are moving forward to the Street Profits. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, 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 bum. Street Profits versus Dirty Dogs. Them Dirty Dogs. Commander Aziz. Boo the Street Profits. Red cups are raining down. Oh, I'm trying to get to the chat here. Boom. We're back. The in-ring quality was way better for HBK Undertaker, and it had way more emotion than Roman versus Jay inside Hell in a Cell. Come on, guys. It's one of the great matches of all time. Awesome AJ Videos says, can you name one wrestler for me, please, for my YouTube? What do you mean? Can I name one wrestler? That's one of the hardest wrestling quizzes I've ever heard of. Hey, look, coming up next, it's going to be Bianca Belair's victory party. There you go. Bianca Belair. Awesome AJ Videos. Bianca Belair. Decent show. Second hour should be better. We still haven't heard from Bianca. We're about to. The Bianca Belair celebration party is about to get started. Days, what did you invest in? What did I invest in? What do you mean, buddy? What do you mean? Days, I finally got my WWE Network back up by using ExpressVPN now. I can watch the WWE Network in the US. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, I've heard some pretty negative stuff about Peacock. So that is cool that you are back on the WWE Network. Syndrome said, please retain the titles. Tom Burns says, 4.5 for that triple threat. Don't make me laugh. Real Deal Stewart said, Street Profits are winning tonight, and they're going to celebrate with Bianca Belair afterwards. Caitlin said, who's your favorite wrestler? I do like Roman. I do like Asuka as well. And but my favorite overall, and it's my new answer, is Volta. I love Volta. How is Volta versus Ciampa not 5 stars? But that Young Bucks match, I can't get over it. I can't get over it. I'm trying to get over it, but I can't get over it. I should be big enough to be able to move on. But I'm not. Turns out I'm really petty. Mike said, Days, can you name every single member of the NWO? And I mean all of them. Maybe. Probably not, because my memory's awful. But if I sat down and had enough time, I reckon I'd get there or thereabouts. LFC Luke says, didn't you say on a podcast that you invested in something, or am I going crazy? Oh, no, yeah, I did invest in Dogecoin. Not loads, but obviously there's been a lot of hype around that recently. Yeah, that's not something that I'd really discuss here. Not that I'm bothered by it. I'll quite happily talk about it. But I don't know anything about investing or cryptocurrencies or anything like this, but I know that Elon Musk keeps tweeting about it, and I know it keeps trending on Twitter. So I just did it the other day. I just signed up to a company called Binance and invested a little bit of money in it. It's actually doing really well. Even since the other day, speaking the other day, it's already gone up. So definitely seems to be something going on with this. So I don't know if anyone out there has done the same and invested in Dogecoin, but yeah, seems to be the current, I don't know, what would you compare it to? Like the GameStop thing? Seems to be that. Like, I don't think this is something that's going to be around for a long time. It's going to be like, you know, a big money-making opportunity for long, but certainly it's got some hype around it at the moment. So yeah, I put a little bit of money in. And I'm fairly confident I'll lose it all, because that seems to be what happens to me. So I'm very much looking forward to losing my money, my investment. Yes, it's doing really well. Invested in GameStop stocks. People earned loads of money. $1 million debt. Yeah, it's going to be, yeah. It's going to be me. It's going to be Cameron Grimes. It's going to be the $1 million man. Does everyone in the chat know that Days used to be a cage fighter? Yeah, in the underworld of UK. It is true. There's videos of me beating people up. Just like I'd beat Dave Meltzer up for giving 5 stars to the Young Bucks. Oh, hello, Montez, doing a little song. Street Profits talking about doing some spring cleaning. Days left undefeated at 100-0. I did. So we're going to get this match in a bit, are we? Is it the Bianca celebration first? WrestleMania was a night for the ages. I do agree. He says there's one match in particular I'm going to tell my great grandkids about. All right, so they're playing the tape. Montez is like, roll it! Roll the tape! Man, this was class, wasn't it? This was class. I can understand him not giving 5 stars to this match. But yeah, it being hailed as one of the best moments. They've got to show the emotion at the start, haven't they? That emotion at the start is... that's what makes it. Women in glasses in the Thunderdome monitor is nice, says Butterspark. Wrestling versus days, says Clay Harrison. It does feel that way. Does feel that way. KOD. Fireworks going off. And there's Montez. I don't think we got to see that, did we? I think we cut off before we got to see Montez come down. Emotions. Angelo Dawkins said he's got the feels. Joaquin said, is he going to tell his grandkids about Roman's win? Yeah, he's going to be telling... He said, there's a match at WrestleMania I'm going to be telling my grandkids about. It was actually the women's tag turmoil match. He's going to be talking about how Mandy slipped over and how Dana showed off her boob. And he might mention Bianca's win as well, but... He said, let me introduce to you the greatest part of my life. And the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Big intro. Big intro for Bianca from Montez. And they're running around in circles in the ring. She looks great, man. She's got like a cat suit on, swinging her hair around. Big smile on her face. Dancing her way down to the ring. She looks awesome, doesn't she? Right, wow. Is someone going to step up to Bianca? Just having to take a deep breath here. EST. 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 Bianca Belair, your new SmackDown Women's Champion. First time winning of color headlined a WrestleMania. It was a big moment, man. She said, my mind is blown and my heart is full. She says, despite the setbacks and the struggles, I never stopped believing that this moment would be possible. Blame Darius says, when you've had a bad day, there's nothing like a night of wrestling. In the chat with you guys and Days, of course. Hashtag bring back the factions. Blame Darius, shout out to you, buddy. I'm sorry to hear that you've had a bad day. In the words of Taylor Swift. I'm not sure. I don't listen to her. So I can't say. I don't know. But just try and put it out your mind. I think she's probably said that once. She came in like a wrecking ball. I don't know. Everyone has got some EST within themselves. Even you, Blame Darius. You've got some EST inside of you. Right, are we going to be seeing Sasha? It would make sense that we would. If you can dream it, you can do it. It's not about me. Sasha Banks gets a mention. She's getting emotional just saying her name. She says thank you. It takes two. We both made history. It's good, man. She's so likable. Okay. So it's a big, like, inspirational promo. She said, this is for all the little girls that are watching. She even said to Sasha, if you do forget, I did leave something to remember me by. And kind of little reference, I believe, to the hair whip and the scar. The wound. And she speaks about creating history. It's good they're giving her time to talk. No one's interrupted or anything yet. So Bianca and Street Profits embrace. Definitely feels like they need... Bianca says you need to get back to those tag titles because we only wear gold in this house. Kind of felt like this needed an ending. I didn't know where it was going. She says you need to drop them red cups. And I loved how Montez Ford kind of just had a quick little look because it was blue. He was like... But it would have been good if he'd have just hid it for a moment. Do you know what I mean? That would have been good. You need to drop them red cups. We only wear gold in this house. And there's Sasha backstage shaking her head. She says gold is blue. Oh, you can see the mark. No, she's still not over it yet. She's upset. Oh. Sasha storms. Sasha storms away. Banks, yeah, we saw Banks backstage. How can hair do that to you? Hair is very powerful. It's one of the most powerful items known to man. Lots of boos. Clay Harrison booing away. Days, what is your favorite woman's theme song, says Irma. Maybe the Bianca one. I love the Bianca one, man. It always gets me dancing away. And when I first heard it, when she first arrived down in NXT, absolutely loved it. I've heard it so much now. Maybe it doesn't have the same reaction, but it's a great. I love it. It is a great tune. Harley said, Days, you actually think the Belair moment and Roman versus Jay had more emotion than the Bucks match? Do you think that Ric Flair's farewell match had more emotion? Do you think Taker HBK was better? Huh? What are you on about? I don't know what your point is, Harley. Do I think that Roman Jay had more emotion than the Bucks match? Yes. The Bucks match had no emotion. The one on Wednesday was just move, 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 move. There was no emotion. Do you think Ric Flair's farewell match had more emotion than Taker HBK? Yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, is that like Dave Meltzer? Is it Dave Meltzer that's saying these things? Ding dong, hello. We do have Bailey. Your hat and shirt looks good on you. Your hat and shirt looks good on you as well, Robert. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Is it just me, or is this feeling a bit clunky? Is anyone else? Is it feeling a little bit clunky? Like they announced that we were getting Roman Cesaro. We didn't get the match. Then Street Profits come down, but it's actually for Bianca. Then we see Sasha. Then we get a little Bailey thing. Now we're going to the tag match. It just doesn't feel very... I don't know. I want to get into something, but... I got into the Bianca thing, but it's just a little clunky. Like, we're going to this little bit. Now we're doing this little bit. Now we're going to go to this little bit. Just want to get into... Now we're going to commercial break. Flippity-doo. What's going on? Are you streaming the Jake Paul fight tomorrow? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Right. We are doing that, and we are doing UFC as well. Right, Street Profits versus Dirty Dogs. It's a bunch of random promos, says 1987 Big Fan. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Little weird. Like, I understand Sasha looking disappointed and, you know, them interviewing Bailey. I feel sorry for Bailey, considering, you know, we did wonder what they were going to do with her at WrestleMania. And honestly, what they did was not great, was it? Let Him In said, Bailey just seems like a spoilt brat as a heel. Robert, shout out to you, but SmackDown feels a little misplaced with these segments, says James Chadwick. Don said, what happens to a Ziggly and Rude theme song? I don't know, I do feel like they could lean a little more into that Dirty Dogs vibe. Do you know what I mean? I do agree. They could do with a new theme song, or, yeah. Harley said, Asuka versus Charlotte on Monday. That'll be all right. I'll be down for that. See what we can get out of that. Have we done halftime scores? No, we can do them now. I suppose this is a bit late, but we can do them. Get in your halftime scores for the show. What do you think? Are you happy? Are you sad? Do you love it? Do you not love it? What do you think about the show? Days, it is my birthday today. I hope that Ben Askren wins tomorrow. He is a UFC fighter, though. Eggerson the Barney, happy birthday to you. I also hope that Ben Askren wins tomorrow. I'd feel really sorry for Ben if he doesn't, because he actually, in his interviews, comes across as quite a nice guy. Comes across as quite... I don't know much about him. He only had 3 UFC fights. But he comes across as quite a likable person. He's quite chilled. He's quite laid back. Not taking anything serious. He's even said, I think you lot are taking this fight way more serious than I am. Which isn't a great sign, is it, in all fairness? Do you know what I mean? I'd much rather he turned around and was like, I'm going to give it my all. I've been training every day. I've been sweating blood kind of a thing. But he turned around and went, I think you lot are into this more than me. So there we go. Hard to back him, isn't it? Hard to put any money on him. I want him to win desperately. But it's hard to put money on someone that says, I think you're into this fight a lot more than I am. So we'll see. It's going to be very interesting. Joaquin said, this SmackDown feels like a wrestling escape pod. Is it that bad? Is it that bad? Is it that cringe? Lone Star Friend says 5 out of 10. Jordan says 6.5. Scott Turner says 7. Don't know why that was so difficult. I blame you, Scott. Andrew Park says 7. Zach says 3. Edge says 10 out of 0. Brendan says 5. AEW 5. Salary says 7. XD Frenchy 400 says 4.25. Yaya says 6. 9.5 says Clay. 7 says Scott. Black Dino says 3. Jake John. Oh my God, I'm really struggling here. John Cena. I've heard of that guy. John Cena Gamer says 7. Hayden says 6.5. Troy says 7.5. John Costello says 6.41. Big Boy Dally says 5. David Hall says 6. Philip, happy birthday to you, my friend. Irma says 6. Lone Star Friend says 5. Brandon says 6.25. So we've got a lot of 6s in there. A few 7s. Trini with a 7. Ethan with a 3. You can see the scores pouring in. TK with an 8. Chris says, it would be funny if Kevin Owens and Sammy show up tomorrow at Logan Paul's match. Well, it's Jake Paul's, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure Logan will be there. But Logan's not fighting yet. He's fighting Floyd Mayweather, but I've not seen when the date's been confirmed for that. Harley said, Days, Roman's promo was great. Ray Otis was... Paul backstage interview was good. Sammy promo was good. Owens versus Sammy was good. Bianca promo was great. I'm going to say it's a good show so far. 8 out of 10. How was the Street Profits champions for 2.5 months, but Ziggler and Rude have now been champs for 4? God, have they? Wow. Edge says Roman sucks. John Costello says, other than maybe setting up Roman versus Cesaro, this SmackDown feels like WWE taking another bow for WrestleMania like they did on Raw. Yeah, I suppose that's true. I mean, we got a rematch with Kevin and Sammy. Ray and Otis didn't really do... Well, it didn't do anything for me. So not really into that. The Roman stuff has been good. Roman Cesaro, I'm very much on board with that. Great to see Bianca. This is for the tag titles. So, yeah, I'm into this. I certainly don't think this has been a bad show. Dolph collides into Rude. We've amazingly only got about 45 minutes left. I didn't realise the time had gone so fast. Oh! Dolph gets thrown on top of Rude. Dolph gets thrown over the top rope to the outside. Against the ropes goes Dawkins looking for the Bulldog. Against the ropes again goes Dawkins. Shoulder tackle. Yeah, they are. They are pumped up, fired up. Dolph Ziggler has got the best dropkick in WWE, says Mike. BBB Yipsy says, Days, tell the guy wondering how hair can do damage that a rhino's horn is made of nothing but hair. That's interesting. A mass shooting is #1 trend worldwide. Is it really? Where's that? JCTV rocks. Montez went back to screaming in the camera. Yep, we've gone back to commercial. Hey, there wasn't much gap there, was there? We literally just did halftime scores. I feel like I saw a couple of moves. Now I'm back at commercial. Days, even the emotion of the Belair promo was better than the Bucks match, in my opinion. Some people need to look back on this show. It's pretty good. Robin said, what's your thoughts on the Young Bucks? I like the Young Bucks. I think they're a good team. I think they are capable of great matches. I am honestly stunned that Dave Meltzer is saying that Wednesday was one. I honestly would have said Wednesday was a bad match. And I understand there was people that enjoyed it. So I understand that I might have been in the minority. But I can only be honest with saying that I gave it my attention. It was the first thing that was on the show. There was no NXT on at the same time. So I was watching it. And if I wasn't streaming, I would have turned it off. I would have gone. I would have been like, not feeling this. It just did not grab me at all. Did not grab me in the slightest. So I don't know if it's getting 5 stars because it was well executed. I mean, I can't remember many botches. Any botches? I mean, honestly, it's a well executed match, and there was certainly a lot of moves in there. Had a nice pace all throughout as well. I mean, I must stress it wasn't a bad match. It was just for me a boring match. I was really bored. I was watching it and it was long and it didn't really tell much of a story. And I don't get it. I don't get it. But I do like the Bucks. I think they are capable of incredible matches. And my favorite match from last year was the Young Bucks against Kenny and Hangman. I thought that match was incredible. I thought that was easily a 5-star match. So they are definitely capable of them. I just didn't think Wednesday was one. WWE wanted fans to boo Becky. So do you think they want to do Becky versus Bianca to get fans booing her? WWE wanted fans to boo Becky. I don't know that they do they? Didn't they have her positioned as a face when she left? I mean, I remember she faced Shayna, and Shayna, bit her neck, and I'm pretty sure she was like a face when she left. So, I mean, Becky versus Bianca is a big match. It's a great match. I don't know how they would book it. Because I don't know that fans would boo Becky, to be honest. And I don't think fans are booing Bianca. I think she's one of the hottest things in WWE right now. We're just looking at the trailer for 2K. BT Sport has actually cut away. So BT Sport has cut away from this commercial. But just a little look at 2K22, which doesn't really tell you much, does it, that little trailer? But sure, there's a lot of excitement for it. Days, the mass shooting has happened in Indianapolis, Indiana. Well, absolutely thoughts with everyone there right now. That goes without saying. I don't know anything about it. This is, clearly breaking news. But it's just another example of another mass shooting in America by the looks of it. Shoulder Up by Dawkins. Days, what is your favourite male WWE theme song? I get asked that quite a bit, and I always say Undertaker, because Undertaker, I think, fitted his character so well. And I do think a theme song should be cool. I do think, though, when the music hits, that it's got to give you goosebumps. And I kind of think that, Stone Cold's was very good for that. His music wasn't brilliant, but the breaking glass was awesome. Because, if someone was getting beaten up and you heard the glass break, you just knew. You just knew that Stone Cold was on the way. So, I like the start of Stone Cold, but I think just for music that fits a character, Undertaker, personally. And I love Kamala, so Kamala's was awesome. The Dirty Draws are fighting back. They are fighting back. Yes, they are double teaming on Angelo Dawkins at the moment. So Dawkins is going to have to try and make the tag to Montez. But Dolph Ziggler is standing in his way. Days, how common are mass shootings in your country? Not common at all. Not common at all. We do have some shootings, but they are very rare. They don't make it, you just don't hear about them on the news all that much. They tend to be, gangs, really, that are, amongst themselves. Like, there's a couple of gangs in Birmingham, and you tend to find guns can get involved there. Obviously, there's a few gangs down in London as well, and you tend to hear. And obviously, we get the odd armed robbery, but even that's very rare. So, yeah, we really don't get that much, like, gun violence. But I'm not saying that we're, like, safer as a result, because we've had a lot of knife crime. Like, knife crime is probably worse over here as a result, because obviously knives are easier to get a hold of. Like, you can't buy guns in the UK. There's no shops that sell them. I can't go to a shop. There's no Walmart selling guns or anything like this. I mean, I've seen one gun shop, and it used to be in Birmingham, and I have no idea, like, how you would even go in and buy a gun. But I remember seeing guns in the window in the shop in Birmingham. But that was when I was young. That was back in, like, the late 80s, early 90s. And that shop's long gone. It's been gone for years and years and years. And that's the only shop I've ever seen in my life that sold them. And it's gone. And it was like a real specialist. Never seen another example of a gun shop ever in the UK. Big splash. He's hit the big splash on Rude, and Dolph Ziggler makes the save. So, yeah, I'm not going to say we don't have gun issues here, or there's not, like, guns in circulation. Of course there are, but, yeah, it's not nowhere near, just not even a comparison to what you hear about in America. Dolph has made the save. 1987 Big Fan says the US needs to do away with selling guns at Walmart. Well, I would imagine that a lot of people are of the opinion that something's got to change. I know that Dolph's got the win there, by the way. Sling Blade on Montez, and Dolph Ziggler gets the win, so the Dirty Dogs retain. I mean, this isn't the right stream, obviously, to be talking about guns, and I'm certainly not the right person to be telling America what to do. But certainly someone in the UK that, you know, sees how often these shootings are now, you would have to say that there's got to be some tighter restrictions come in. And, yeah, maybe Walmart shouldn't be stocking ammo and stocking guns, and maybe all of that stuff should be harder to get your hands on. I can understand, though, that there's a lot of people that live out, you know, in the sticks that, you know, have got problems with wild animals and, you know, need to kind of have protection. I can understand that. Why is Pat McCarthy standing up? Have they told him to stand up? Why is he standing up? Sit back down? No? What's he doing? I don't know what Pat McCarthy's doing. Ziggler's zigzag was awesome, says Knob Freeze. Bianca's going to whip Montez with her hair now. I reckon she does anyway. I think it's about sensible laws controlling who has got access and who doesn't. It's crazy that anyone can walk into a store and buy a gun with no questions asked. I mean, that is. I'm quite happy to agree that is crazy. Right, we've got Cesaro backstage. He's in black and yellow. This seems to be his new color scheme. Rick E245 says, Days, what do you think about Alexa Bliss and Lily forming a tag team and winning the women's tag team titles? What do I think about those two teaming together? How would they do that? She's a doll. I don't know. I don't know. I'm maybe not the right person to ask there. I think Alexa Bliss is one of the worst things in WWE. I'm hoping that Bray now is going to go back to how he was. I actually thought the Funhouse was all right. I thought it was pretty decent on Monday. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that Bray is kind of done with Alexa. He's kind of going back to how he was. And, you know, we're going to get to some interesting... Because it was really fun when the Funhouse was like... Had some hidden meanings and there was some stuff you could get into and talk about and whatever. And I kind of feel like he got burnt. He was away for a long time. There wasn't really any hidden meanings, or there was nothing to read into. You just had Randy Orton throwing up black goo and Alexa acting like a child, and I don't know. It was just not fun. It just wasn't for me. So I'm really hoping that Bray goes back to how he was. But yeah, Alexa and this Lily thing. I mean, let's see what Monday holds in regards to that. So yeah, I'm not a fan. But Ricky, shout out to you. Days, I actually can't trust Dave anymore. He's too biased, and no one can argue with that, says Harley. Dolph trolling Montez with the long braid, says Nando. Is that why he was doing it? Do you think he was like channeling his inner Bianca Belair? Is that why he was doing it? I did wonder why he was doing that. Maybe Nikki is the doll. Well, I don't know, to be honest, because it was just a doll, and the mouth like CGI moved and whatever. So if Nikki is going to be teaming with Alexa, that's great. I like Nikki. So that's cool. I'm down for that. But currently it is just a doll. Right now it is just a soft toy. So yeah, I'm not feeling it. Days, Samoa Joe was released. Yes. Days, where is your girlfriend? Come on, Motix. Come on. Don't act like it's not you. Don't act like you're not my girlfriend and you're pretending that you're not my girlfriend. BBB Yipsy said 98% of gun violence in the US is from people that got guns illegally. Media won't tell you the truth about that. I do not own a gun, but it is a Second Amendment right and says shall not be infringed. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I'm maybe not the right person. I mean, it does just seem weird to me that they're so easily available, and you know, where are these illegal ones coming from? Like, how do you stop the flow? Perhaps there's no way of stopping the flow. Perhaps it's just so. Perhaps you've got so many guns now. How would you even stop it at this point? I have no idea. Perhaps because you could be right. Perhaps the rules are already quite tight, so perhaps that wouldn't change anything. But the problem is you've just got so many that are lying around now, or you've got so many on the black market now that there's no. What do you do? But I think what everyone would be in agreement of is something has to change. Whatever that is, something has to change. But I don't know what this story is. I mean, obviously we're talking about it and it feels like this is quite a big thing that's happened tonight. I haven't seen anything, so again, I can't comment there. But I've always prided our streams on not shying away from tough subjects. I've always really kind of been proud about that. That, you know, we'll talk about these things. And, you know, these are things that we might not agree on. And there's going to be people with different opinions. But I think this community has shown itself that it can have those kind of disagreements, but still do it in a respectful way. We're kind of what Twitter really should be. Do you know what I mean? We can have our disagreements. We can have different opinions, but we're still able to kind of respect that. I think that's great. So, but this is going to obviously be a very sensitive subject. People are very, very opinionated on this one. But with 28 minutes left, we are going to focus on our next match. And our next match is Natalya versus Shayna Baszler. Versus Shayna. Right. Next year is Ric Flair's 50th year in wrestling, says Gamer Dude. Wow. The man. That's what he is, isn't he? The man. Right, we've got Nia on the outside. There is no Simpanold. So no Simpanold around anymore. So I don't know what's happened to him. We haven't seen him for a little while now, have we? Old Simps. Old Simpanold. Tom Burns says Sasha is one of the greatest of all time and she should have won at WrestleMania. Bianca has got plenty of time to have a WrestleMania moment. She shouldn't have got it at her first. It was too soon. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a real argument for that. I think the way that it played out, though, was nice. I think the fact that Bianca cried before showed how much it meant to her. And honestly, if she'd have lost, that would have been all right because you could always go that, you know, her emotions got the better of her. And honestly, that would be a perfectly acceptable story. But it was a nice moment. I'm not down on it. I think that they've got a new big star and Bianca certainly feels like a big deal. And there's no mid-card belts for the women, is there really? I mean, what else could she go off and do? She could have some more feuds and waste a bit more time, kill a bit of time, but they're clearly investing in the future here. We got Rhea as a new champion, Bianca as a new champion, Raquel Gonzalez as a new champion. Obviously, we got to see all three on NXT. It was a nice moment, so I must admit I'm not too down on it. I like Bianca. I think she's quite likable, and it's the arrival of a new star. But yeah, you're certainly not alone in saying this is too soon. We've got Shayna getting thrown over to Nia, but she stops herself. But Natalya rolls her up and gets the 3 count. What do you think is best, Raw or SmackDown? Oh, easily SmackDown is the better show. Tamina screaming at Nia. Days, you have to fill out forms and complete background checks to own a gun legally. Not criminal or felon is not allowed to own a gun. Most gun crimes happen in gun-free zones. Criminals don't care about the laws. That's true, but then what can you do to reduce the amount of guns or make it harder for criminals to get access to guns? You know, if we're saying that it should just be a few legal people that are allowed to have them, then what can you do to stop the criminals from getting a hold of them? Because that if you're telling me that's the problem, then that's the problem that needs to be resolved. And I don't know that you can just go, there's nothing we can do. I don't know that that's going to be satisfying. I don't know. It definitely feels like something needs to happen. But I'm certainly not the right person to tell you what. John Costello said, I was surprised that both women's titles changed hands. I'm curious to see where WWE goes from here with the women's division. Deception Hunter said they want to take America's guns from law-abiding citizens so that they are defenseless against the powers that be. I don't know. I mean, like, what powers that be? Do you mean like the police? I don't know what you mean by the powers that be. You see, that really wouldn't be of a concern to me. Like, because I've grown up in the UK where we don't have access to guns, not having guns is just not a thing. It would genuinely really concern me if I walked out of my house knowing there was people out there that were just casually walking around with guns. Like that would bug me. That would really be a mess with my head. So for me, it's really strange to sit here and speak to people in America that obviously are very passionate about everyone having the right to have guns. I understand that it's like an amendment in your constitution and everything, but I think that was a very different time, wasn't it? A very, very different time. Dare I say, a less civilized world than what we live in now. So I don't know. I mean, if people want to have guns because of the fact that they want to go out hunting and it's something that they enjoy doing, but there seems to me like there's a lot of paranoia in America. It feels like people want guns to protect themselves. People want guns because other people have got guns, is how it comes across to me. Like, having guns should be because you want to go out hunting. Surely that's why you would have a gun. That's the real reason why you should have a gun. If society was a safe place, then that's why you would have a gun, to go hunting. But I think there's a lot of people that have got guns because other people have got guns, and it all starts to become not about hunting. Now it's about protecting yourself from other people that have got guns, because there's people out there that have got guns that you know are not good people. So it's all like, it seems a big mess to me. So I certainly, I think you can have guns for hunting and whatever. And, as you said, law-abiding citizens have got that right. It's in the Constitution, and I get all of that. I think my line is something has got to be done, though. It's all well and good of saying, okay, yeah, these persons should have them, these persons should have them, blah, 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 blah. But at some point, you've got to go, okay, there's a lot of people getting killed here, and something definitely needs to change. And things have got to get, I don't want to say tighter, but things have got to get cleaned up somehow. And I have no idea how you do that. I have no idea how you stop illegal criminals, from getting their hands on them. How do you clean up a black market? How do you stop guns just pouring over the borders? Or I have no idea. I would imagine that there's people making guns in America that are very good at it and can just churn them out. How do you shut that down? I mean, the amount of money it's going to cost to kind of tackle all of that, I should imagine, is eye-watering. So it's something that I don't think has got an easy answer, to be perfectly honest. But, I mean, obviously this is a real hot topic tonight. So whatever's happened over in America tonight, obviously thoughts with those people. The fact that we're so focused on this conversation that's come out of nowhere kind of really shows that that unfortunately seems like it's somewhat quite serious. We are at commercial break, by the way. We're not ignoring wrestling just so we can talk about gun control and the right way forwards with gun violence. We are just at commercial break, but we are about to go back with 19 minutes left. 19 minutes left, and Jey Uso versus Cesaro coming up. Chris said, what do you think will happen when Brock comes back to SmackDown and sees that Roman is hanging out with Paul Heyman? Well, it's going to be very interesting, isn't it? I don't know if Brock will come to SmackDown or if he goes to Raw, and we don't know if Paul Heyman is going to be managing Brock as well as Roman, or are they going to collide and go at each other? So there's a lot of unanswered questions in regards to that. So, yeah, we are going to have to wait and see how that plays out when Brock returns. Asuka versus Charlotte on Monday. I thought Charlotte did really well on Monday. I thought she looked great. And, yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. John said, here in Minneapolis, we're on the other side of the coin where the police are killing people. I don't know what the answers are. I wish that I did, of course. Yeah, I mean, that is awful as well. I saw that someone else had been killed at the hands of the police. There's a lot of problems, isn't there? A lot of problems. Right, we've got Jey Uso making his way out. Jey Uso versus versus Roman Reigns. What am I on about? Asuka Charlotte main event, says Dom15. Here he is, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner. Staring at his trophy that he won last week. Can you believe that was a week ago? Can you believe that he won that a week ago? It feels like the other day. I can't believe that was a week ago. Jay is boring, says Ant. Harley said Dave's SmackDown overall has been good. Not amazing. Definitely not bad, but good. What do you think? I think it's been fine. I mean, good, yeah. I kind of feel like it's been... I'm probably around 6, 7, 5, 7-ish. I kind of feel like it's been all right. I like the Bianca thing. But I like Bianca. We had a tag title match that was all right. There was a chance that Street Profits could have won, but Dirty Dogs retain. I like the Roman Cesaro thing. But then, you know, we've had like Shayna just in action against Natalia. I wasn't into that. We had Ray and Otis. I wasn't into that. So it's a couple, and like, you know what I mean? It's just been a lot of recap. I agree, actually, with the chat. It's been a lot of, like, a bit of a recap of the show. So, yeah, average, good. I'm kind of around that ballpark. Cesaro making his way down. It's a bit of a weird main event, this, isn't it? I mean, it's nice in a way that we're building Cesaro, but Cesaro versus Jey Uso as the main event of WrestleMania. Imagine that. The main event of SmackDown is a bit of a weird one. So obviously all plays into a story, and that's fine, but Jey Uso, man, he just constantly loses these kind of matches. And I'd imagine we're about to see that again here. You spelled Cesaro wrong, did I? Not on purpose. Just chucked in an extra E. Right, how long? We got 15 minutes. Main event, I believe, here of Jey Uso Cesaro. I'll be surprised if the main event is anything else. What do you think is the most overrated, underrated wrestler of all time? Hard to say, bud, because, I mean, like, you look back at the past, don't you? And there's a lot of wrestlers that just don't get spoken about and are honestly just not even known about. I mean, Lou Thez might be the greatest wrestler of all time. He invented a load of moves, one of the longest reigning champions, legit was wrestling every night, traveling all over the country, inspired so many people. Like, Lou Thez is... If you talk about the best wrestlers ever, you're talking Ric Flair. But I think you're also talking maybe, well, definitely Lou Thez. Maybe Edge Strangler Lewis as well. And, you know, you could make an argument for a few of the, I don't want to say modern stars, but you could make an argument for the impact that Stone Cold had. But he's not the best wrestler ever. But, like, Lou Thez was a big draw, you know? So he was a great wrestler. He drew loads of money as well. So I don't know. I mean, like, in this day and age, is that one of the most underrated wrestlers now? Because no one really talks about those wrestlers. Overrated wrestlers. That's also very difficult, isn't it? I kind of feel like these are long conversations. These are long, heavy conversations about who's the most overrated, most underrated, and ever as well. Hard. Pat O'Connor is the best New Zealand wrestler of all time. He sadly passed away in 1990. It's great. Yeah, great name, Pat O'Connor. Great wrestler. Days is talking about guns, and the Spanish commentary are talking about aliens, says Andros Hunter. Lex Luger might be the most overrated, says BBB Yipsy. I'm going to trade my guns for a Type 2 phaser, says William. Lex Luger is the most overrated. What is your favourite championship? Probably the Winged Eagle. Pretty standard. Same answer as everyone else. Crypto66 says, has anyone seen The Falcon and Winter Soldier? If you have, then please don't spoil the... Probably shouldn't have said that. It's not a great thing to say on the internet, is it? Guys, I'm really into this, but I haven't seen the end. Please don't spoil it. Was Dynamite Kid from Liverpool? Do you know? I'm not sure. I honestly don't know if it was Liverpool or if it was like Leeds. I think Davey was from Leeds, so they were related. I believe they were actual cousins. So he might have been Liverpool. He might have been, or he could have been Leeds. John said, yes, the long conversations about overrated, underrated are best for those bloated 3 hours but seem longer Raw episodes, says John. Oh, yeah, we can definitely save it for those. There's a lot of names that definitely come to mind. I mean, for example, one, Ultimate Warrior. Now, Ultimate Warrior was someone that I absolutely loved as a kid, so I can't say he was overrated because I rated him as a kid. He was everything to me, Ultimate Warrior. If you asked me as a kid what was my favorite wrestler, I would have said Undertaker. He would definitely have been mentioned, but Ultimate Warrior would have been right up there as well. And I remember when he came back at like WrestleMania 12, I was over the moon. Over the moon. I always felt he should have had a longer title run and should have felt he should have won the title more and we should have seen more of him. He should have been in more main events. I couldn't believe he didn't beat Macho Man at SummerSlam 92. Like, I never understood why they never used him more, why we never saw him more. And when he came back, I was like, this is it. Now we're going to get, like, the real Ultimate Warrior run. You know, I obviously wasn't using those words as a kid, but I expected him to win the belt and hold it forever. And then, like, you find out he was just a awful person, nasty piece of work. Refusing to have matches unless he got paid money before the show and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, he kept getting fired and he was just an absolute nightmare. And then, like, you know, you start hearing about how he couldn't actually wrestle and now he only had so many moves and now they had to constantly protect him and keep his matches short on purpose. So we all thought he was going out there and just beating everyone up. Turns out they were having to have short matches because he couldn't wrestle. So I'm not saying he's the most overrated, but I think compared to what I thought of him as a kid, I think I do look at him now as overrated, unfortunately. But it still can't take away from his promos or his character or his charisma. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot to being a wrestler. Beautiful strength, standing vertical suplex by Cesaro. But yeah, he's not a wrestler that many people mention anymore. I kind of think a lot of people are in the same boat as me that loved him as a kid. And now as an adult, you're like, bit of an idiot, weren't he? That's a shame. Cesaro over to the outside. Forearm strike. This new attire for Cesaro looks really cool, says Brony. Alan Jason says, the power of Cesaro. Tom said, I'm glad they're treating Rhea Ripley seriously. She deserves to be treated as a big star. Not the hardly used star like a lot of the former NXT talent. I agree. Oof. William said, I heard there was 5 of him. No. Trust me, there was only one. Haku is maybe the most underrated. He could do it all, but never got that singles championship push. If you watch his early 80s matches, I am a big fan of Haku. Yeah, it's really cool. And he, as you said, he was legit. I don't know what happened to him, like in the late 80s. I don't know if it was age or injuries that caught up or whatever. Or what the reason was why they didn't pull the trigger. Perhaps it was just Hulkamania was in the way, but yeah, definitely a shame that they didn't do more. Here we go. Jey Uso climbing up. 8 minutes left to go. Beautiful drop kick by Cesaro. Great drop kick. And Jey Uso hanging on the outside. Cesaro looking for a suplex. Slim Jim said, I guess I was more of a Sting guy than Warrior, but that was a dream match of mine. Yeah. I can understand that. I also was very interested in seeing Sting come to WWE. He was really the only person in WCW that grabbed my attention. Shoulder up by Jey Uso. Not a bad little main event this so far. Nice little match. Derek said, I want the Riot Squad to win the titles, and I want that Naomi would have come out challenged for the SmackDown title, but no. We just get Sasha looking mad. Well, I think Naomi's over on Raw, isn't she? So she could always get drafted over, but nice corkscrew. Oh, shoulder up. Harley said, Dave, something tells me that we're going to get Roman Cesaro at Backlash, but I just can't put my finger on it. I also think that Sheamus has been criminally underrated, possibly most underrated. I'd agree that Sheamus is underrated. I'd also agree, though, that I think Sheamus has drifted a little. I don't know that Sheamus has always been delivering the quality of matches that he's delivering right now. I feel like he's just had like a fire lit under him. And I'm sure Sheamus would agree that at times he's phoned it in. 1, 2. Kick out. Cesaro is underrated. Maybe not the most of all time, but certainly of the 2010s, says LFC Luke. My goodness, I thought I slept long. Sonny, shout out to you. Big boy Dally, shout out to you as well. Welcome back to Sam. Ricochet is underrated, says Jaden. BBB Yipsy said, Haku got into so much trouble from lawsuits from beating the beep out of people in bars. The biting nose off cost him $1 million in a lawsuit. I've got an actual article about when it happened. I tell you what, they could do a Dark Side of the Ring quite easily on Haku, couldn't they? I heard that he actually pulled someone's eye out. And obviously the nose thing as well. But I heard that he pulled a guy's eye out in a bar. I mean, like, he was an absolute savage. An absolute savage. Like, the scary thing about Haku was that he didn't seem to have any boundaries. Do you know what I mean? When you get into a fight, whatever, I think everyone's still got some sort of moral compass. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're in a fight, you're still not grabbing at people's eyes. But Haku just doesn't have those boundaries by the looks of it. Oh, Seth has interfered. Seth has come down. He's attacking Cesaro. So maybe we're not quite done with Seth and Cesaro yet. So Seth coming down again. He's got the wild wardrobe. Days, why is Raw 4 hours but SmackDown 3? Because Fox loves us. It's actually 3 and 2. You got lucky. This isn't over. It isn't over till I say it's over. I want to see Roman and Seth against Cesaro and Nakamura. Yeah, Seth was screaming, this isn't over till I say it's over. Okay, so we've just got a very angry Seth ranting away as SmackDown comes to an end. I kind of felt like that main event was all right. It was all right. Just a shame that Seth gets involved. Kind of indicates that maybe we're not getting Roman Cesaro. Perhaps it was a nice tease, but it's actually not what is next for Roman and Cesaro. Perhaps we're getting, or who knows, perhaps we're going to get Seth Cesaro next week. And we still are going to get Roman Cesaro at the pay-per-view. But, of course, we've got a lot of time to kill, haven't we, till we get to the pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is still quite a way off. So, wonder which way they're going. I think Big E deserves a push. Oh, he definitely does. He definitely does. Right, my friends. I don't know. I mean, there was no NXT call-ups. There was no Becky. There was really nothing there that we haven't had before. Or anything massive. I mean, if that's the SmackDown after WrestleMania and people viewed it that way, I think there'll be disappointment, to be honest. So, I don't know. Get in your scores. Scott says 7. Let Him In says 6. Austin says 7. Brony says 7. Alex says 8. Troy says 8. Scott says 5. We got Brian with a 7. It'll be a 3-way, says William. Hasib says 6. Seth versus Cesaro, the rematch, says Butterspark. Laurie said, I think this could be the start of Seth and Roman. Izzy Girl says Roman's drip is 10 out of 10. Today says 6. Big Boy Dally with a 7. Cam Vlogs with a 6. Isman with a 5. Brandon with a 6. Oh, hello, it just jumped. Let me go back up to that super chat. Joaquin said this was definitely a Wrestling Escape Pod. I've got a horrible feeling that that's not a good thing. Which isn't a great advertisement for the Wrestling Escape Pod, is it? Jordan with a 7. Crazy Ginger Jake Holden with a 6.5 out of 10. Scott Lister with a 5. David Connolly with a 6.5. Alan with a 7. Days, what has been the best show of the week? I would say NXT. It's been the best show of the week. Hasib says 6. Brian X says 167. Says 7. Harley said it was good stuff. James with a 2. Fun Games with a 6. Lauren with a 7. Brad G with a 7. Warsaw Till I Die says 6.5. I would have liked to have seen Reigns come out at the end. Shakeem23 says 5.1. Quinn81 says 5. Motic says 7, but Simply Great says -2. Capsman09 says 7.5. Ant Washington says 4. LSW says 5.5. John says 6.14 Raven Lunatic Seths out of 10. See you later, John. He pulled Jess Bar's eye out. He also broke off someone's bottom teeth with his index finger. He put down 10 cops one night. I've seen him in person knock out 5 big tough guys at a local bar that I went to. Guy's mental, isn't he? Raw is average. SmackDown is above average. NXT is the best. Right, yeah, I mean, tough to score, really, to be perfectly honest. Tough to score. I don't really know there was anything here that was that amazing. I mean, they teased that we were getting Roman Cesaro, and then by the end, it looks like we're not. I mean, we could still, and it could still go that way. But, yeah, I kind of agree. This is around, like, the 6, 7, 5, 7 mark. I don't think there was anything that really changed my mind, to be perfectly honest. So, I would say, like, 6, 7, 5, 7. I'll probably go 6, 7, 5, right? Maybe because SmackDown is the show that I really look forward to. I think where Raw underwhelms, I do expect... my expectations for SmackDown are even higher. I really do expect SmackDown to bring something. And even though this was fine, you know, good at times, I do expect more from SmackDown than this. I do expect more. So I'm going to say 6, 7, 5. And if that's a little harsh, I don't care. I don't care. I do expect more from SmackDown. My expectations are high, and, you know, there just wasn't really that much on this show, to be honest. Let Him In said, that's a fair score. Brendan says 725. J14 says 675. Me try and get the chat back. Just disappeared. Days copies me, says Austin. What did you score it, Austin? I don't see what Austin scored it. I think I did read Austin's out, but I can't remember what he said. Austin said 7. I gave it 6752. Great minds think alike. No, you didn't. I just went up, you little liar. You little liar. We've caught you. We've finally caught you. All this time, you've gone around saying that we did the same scores, and all this time you were lying. You were lying. You was telling everyone I was copying you. Shame on you. Shame on you. I said 6, 7. No, you didn't. I've got it literally written down. Where you said 7. You little fibber. Warsaw till I die. Oh, we've caught him, says Sonny. That's it. That is it. That is it. The game is up. No days. Look at the panic. Look, he's in caps. He's gone to caps lock. You always know when someone's squirming away when they go to caps lock. Harley said, in my opinion, Roman promo, Paul promo, Sammy promo, KO versus Sammy, the Belair promo, SmackDown tag title match, Cesaro versus Jay made it a 7 for me, but I respect your opinion. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Dude, if you're at 7, we're not that far away at all. I could have gone to a 7, but... give it a 7, says Brony. No, says Days. He's been caught. Look. Listen, this has been about we've caught a predator. Isn't that what it's called? Isn't there a show called Catch a Predator? We've caught one. We've caught one. Lurking in the shadows, we've caught the predator known as Austin 316. We finally caught him. He's panicking, says Warsaw till I die. Hasib said, Days, what do you say about Shield Part 3? Well, you might get it in, 10 years' time, but I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. Austin said, I'm not panicking. I know the truth. Please don't copy me, Days. Dude, you've been rumbled. You've been royal rumbled. Harry Richard said, Days, when do you Edge make an appearance? When do I think Edge will make an appearance on SmackDown? I think it might be next Friday. Yeah, no Edge tonight, no Daniel Bryan tonight, no Big E tonight. There's some big names missing tonight, thinking about it. Some big names missing. Wonder where they all are. Are they on holiday? What's going on? Also, till I die said, Days, I'm either extremely tired or some of that show was very sleepable. Hey, I wouldn't mind if you was tired, or even blame you. I feel it myself after, such a manic weekend and WrestleMania build and, last week going into the weekend and everything. It was crazy. So I certainly wouldn't blame you. And obviously we got a decent sized weekend coming up as well with UFC and Jake Paul and that Jake Paul Ben Askren. I am excited for that. Oh my God, Austin is Sami Zayn. Oh, here we go. Right, Days, if you don't give it a 7, I'm going to let the Tribal Chief know about it. Listen, the Tribal Chief ain't bothered about Cesaro. He ain't going to care about me. Right, my friends, on that bombshell, we are going to end a little bit, maybe a bit early. Normally stick around till 10 past, quarter past, but I haven't even started doing research for tomorrow, so I really do have to go off. And I've not had anything to eat, so I'm going to have something to eat. I'm going to do some research and get ready for a big, big day tomorrow. So have a great evening wherever you are, my friends. I hope you enjoyed SmackDown. I hope you didn't find it too boring at times. I thought there was some decent stuff in there, so not a waste of time. And we'll see what the future holds for Cesaro, shall we? And we still haven't really got any answers of what the future holds for Roman or Bianca. I don't feel like I got many answers, but we've got a way to go till we get to that WrestleMania backlash. So I suppose there's no rush. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. And never forget, Austin 316 is a dirty copier. Bye for now.